And welcome back to the Lily Pad Podcast. Tonight is a very special episode. I have a bunch of my friends here. All of my friends, all three of you. Everybody I know in the world. This episode is about Mother's Day. And in no particular order, we have Jen, and Lucy. So I'll say Jen 1 because she has one kid, Jen 2 because you have two kids. That's how we'll kind of decide for you for now. Mm-hmm. It's very shallow and cold, but it's the only thing I could come up with. Sorry. So Jen, thank you for coming. And Lucy, thank you for coming.
You're very welcome.
So it's like a deer in headlights I'm looking at you.
It's weird.
So I've known Jen 1 since about 2002, very long time, and your son was was he walking when I met you?
No, not yet.
Like stumbling at all? Okay.
Yep.
And he's about to turn 18.
Yep.
Jen, I met you freshman year of high school, so I knew you long before kids. I always knew you with kids and not with you and kids, and so, God, that's a long time.
It's a really long time.
Yeah.
Like the fact that you just said 2002, was he walking yet? I'm like, maybe he had something wrong with his legs. But it was a long time ago. I was going by so fast.
We say, Mama said I have special legs.
I love that movie, too. Oh, and you were running. Oh my God!
So fast, though.
It really has, and so I knew you all through high school, and basically since then now you see you at Super Bowl parties, and you came over a few months ago. And we were just kind of doing the first dynamic with a group, so now you're actually here for a real show. Thanks for coming.
You're welcome.
Now you have two beautiful children.
I do.
A boy and a girl. The boy is older, correct?
Yes, he'll be 14 tomorrow, and my daughter's 8.
Oh my God! Now Lucy is my newest friend.
Yay!
We met about 3 years ago on social media, Facebook, and then we just, talking and liking each other's pictures, having conversations here and there, found out we both were from Methuen. So well, let's do lunch sometime, dude. And then we've just been hanging out ever since. So it's one of those things. So
pretty neat.
You guys know me. I'm basically the common thread here. You're probably wondering why I brought you here. My friend Jen is looking at me like I have 12 heads. And this is what happens. You just start talking and you start going. But I can't relate to your situations because you guys are moms. And I want to hear some of the most colorful moments as a mom. Like, we could talk about your kids, but this is about you guys. Because like I said, I don't have kids, so I've never been in this position. But, I am someone's kid, and I drive her crazy. Mm-hmm. And I appreciate the no comments there, you guys. But, so, do you have any crazy... I'm going to go with Jen, too. Do you have any crazy stories? Like, it could be even something...
Every day is a crazy story.
Yeah.
Every day is a crazy story, and I think being a kid... I think about my mom and Mother's Day, and I'm focused on what am I going to do for my mom for Mother's Day? And my husband's like, "What about you?" And I'm like, well, "What about me?" It's like I don't even think of myself.
That's a good mom.
As a mom or a good mom.
That's what most moms you guys don't think of anybody but your kids, because once you're a mom, that's it.
Yeah, it's not about you anymore.
No.
Unless you can escape like this tonight, then it's about you for like.
You're welcome. You can always escape here, you guys.
That's needed. Mothers need that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Escape. I usually lock myself in my bathroom. Honestly, that's what I do. My husband's like, "What are you doing in there?" I'm like, "Just sitting on the side of the tub." Just
pooping.
Leave me alone. Yeah, I lie. Like, he knows what I'm doing. He's like, "Leave me alone." Like, but I have to hide there because it's the only place. Actually, they don't even care. They'll barge in there too. Like, "You're not even doing anything." No, I'm not. I'm actually hiding from you. That's true.
You'll be golden,
I'm doing
though,
something
once they
really
start
important
driving.
for mommy right now, and it just backfired.
I'll be scared all the time. Once they start driving, I'm
You'll be scared for the first couple weeks, and then you'll just be like,
when they start driving?
Oh, it's the best thing ever. My son's like, "I'm not getting my license." I go, "Yes, you are, because it's like kindergarten. It's not a choice. You're going."
Nice.
So,
Because I'm not going to taxi your butt around everywhere
exactly.
anymore.
Put them in, bottom of the car. Here you go. See ya. Bye, Felicia.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
No, drive yourself. Pick your friends up. I don't care. Here's gas money. Go.
When we all got our license, boom, we were gone. The second we could have the car. Mm-hmm. I didn't have my own car for a long time. I always used my mom's. And I think my brother probably used my dad's. Mm-hmm. But I know.
I had no car to use, so I was still like looking for rides from people, or I walked everywhere.
Yeah. Well, you lived close to a lot of your friends anyway, like, or Did you?
Kind of.
I don't know. Did you?
No, not really.
Oh.
But I still walked. It didn't matter. I would walk to Methuen from Lawrence. I didn't care.
And you're on Mount Verdi. That's not a very short walk.
No.
Not really.
I walked everywhere.
Me too.
I don't even like
Didn't
walking to
matter
the
where my
mailbox.
friends
Now
were.
my
Between
kids
St.
can't
Lawrence
walk to the
and
bus.
Lawrence.
I drive to
Yeah.
the dumpster,
Can't even
dude.
walk to the bus.
I've done that with you.
That's how lazy
I'm
I
like,
am.
when you talk about walking everywhere, I looked at Jen and I go, I don't even like walking to the mailbox. And then and the only reason I'm laughing so hard is because I've been in the car with her, so I can't even. She drives to the dumpster
I'm
that's like.
so lazy. I am so lazy. It's bad.
I'm right there with you because I was in the passenger seat. She's like, I gotta go take the trash. I'm like, all right, get in the car and back it up. Now you can make Jaden do it.
Oh, he does.
If your
It is heavy.
dumpster's not that close to where you live, I mean.
Oh, it's like super. It's not
It
far.
was like a less than a minute walk. You could probably throw a
garbage
softball.
barrels. It's heavy, right?
See,
Or
I just take
bags,
one
yeah.
bag, throw it in the
I
back
love
of the
how you
Jeep, rip it
rationalize
open,
that
and
whole thing.
thank
See.
you.
And also, too, being a mom is hard work, so you can be lazy about everything else.
Yeah,
That's
You're busy
true.
raising kids.
Tired.
yeah.
I know when my cat acted up, she exhausted me. Oh wait, that's not the same.
It can be.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah, she
my
got claws.
God.
And she used some. Well, she didn't. Yeah,
That's too funny.
but yeah. So, all right. So, what about you, Lucy? Have your boys have done well? What about your oldest? Has he done anything that's kind of driven you crazy? I'm sure he has.
Well, I mean,
Maybe.
just being both boys actually really loud when they play video games.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm like with Ethan, it was annoying. With Crowley, I've learned how to block it out because I
you're a
experienced it
pro
with
at that
Ethan.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing that I would say was probably like the most colorful moment when Ethan was small. I'm gonna admit this out loud, and I know other mothers have gone
No
through
one
this
else
too.
is listening. This is only online. Go ahead.
I know other mothers have gone through this too. I couldn't give him medicine, so there were times where I had to lay him on the floor and straddle him with his arms beside
Oh,
me.
kind of.
Oh, yeah.
Give a cat a pill.
Yeah.
I had to hold one, like his face and
Yep.
his mouth open
Yep.
with one hand and shove that syringe down his throat and make him take it.
I've seen that move
I've
too.
had to do that numerous
Mhm.
times.
Do you know nowadays and I hate to say it, but nowadays if a kid says that, they'll probably say child abuse. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm trying
No
to get
kidding.
you well.
Right, right.
Let me shove this down your throat. I'm going to pin you on the ground where you can't
You'll
move.
thank me later.
Oh.
Little
But yeah,
bastard.
Like, if I take a picture of him, he's like, I didn't give you consent for that. I'm like, you have
Ooh, that's
I'm your
intellectual
mother.
property.
That's
no
consent
rights
enough.
right now. You have zero rights. And I have done that too. I've shoved the pill down his throat.
Yeah.
Now he's trying to like talk about his rights. I'm like, you have no rights.
No, exactly.
No rights at all.
That's
No.
the other thing is the things that kids say. Like, okay, so because I'm not a mom, but I've watched a lot of my friends' kids. But there's a young lady that I watch, and she's like a mini me. The first time I watched her, I had my, and so I was switching purses, and I'm thinking, and she kind of came in when I was doing it, right when I was getting all the, our unmentionables from one person to another. She goes, "Oh, I know what those are." I said, "Yeah." She goes, "Yeah." She goes, "But you." She's like, "You don't have to worry because yours is going to be done soon." Because she knew I was she knew I was in my 40s, so she figured it stops right at 50. And I looked at her and I'm like, "I love you so much, but why do I want to cry?" I'm like, "I'll be out in a minute." I gave her the point. You go in that direction. That's the door. But it was just like she wasn't even trying to hurt my feelings. "Oh, you don't have to worry about this. It was a good thing." I'm like, And she's like, "I can't wait for me." I'm like, "No, you can. Just wait.
Right.
Just wait for it." Now she's 13 and knows everything. And I never see her anymore. She's my little boo. She's a good kid, though. She's feisty. But now, you've done the prom thing, Jen.
Yeah, with someone
not
else's.
you. Well,
Yeah.
your son.
Yeah.
So that must have been like kind of seeing him in a tux.
It was insane. But it's more insane that wasn't his. This is actually his, which means he has
Right.
one year of high school left. That's it. Just one.
Yeah.
And then he's done.
And it's different now. It seems that the big thing about going to the prom is the way you ask the person to the prom. Like
Yeah.
back in
The
day,
promposals.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he
back in
didn't
the
have
day,
any
it was
part of
like,
that.
Do you want to go to the prom with me?
Yeah.
And
It was
then it was yes or no.
That's
yeah.
that's how him and his girl, they didn't even
It's
really talk about it because they
good.
just knew they were going
Because
together.
it's overwhelming. Like it's it's like everybody's trying to one up each other with how they ask each other. And
you know what he wanted? I never heard of this. He wanted a gold rose. Apparently, you can buy a gold rose.
Like a real rose?
Yeah, but it's it's dipped in something or something. He's like, I want to ask her that way. I'm like, dude, really?
spray paint.
Yeah, I'm like,
Get spray paint.
just I'm like,
The
you
poor
guys
Rose
know
is
you're
being
going
tortured.
together, so.
So
But
they're
yeah.
already boyfriend and girlfriend.
Oh yeah, they have been for a while.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So there's no pressure.
No,
Like,
no,
the ones
no.
that don't
Little
have
kid.
boyfriends or girlfriends, like this, that's a lot of pressure.
Right.
Yeah.
It can be
Yeah.
very socially awkward.
Yeah. But yeah, it's crazy because I took him to get a suit the other day and it's nuts. It's
Yeah.
insane. It's crazy.
I mean, when we went to our proms, it was crazy too. But like you said, the whole promposal things, it's like these kids nowadays, there's so many high standards and like it's hard to keep up.
All these kids.
But I mean,
they're
we
all,
thought we had high standards, or our parents probably thought that of us, and we
Yeah.
really were low maintenance compared to these kids.
These kids are all just they're my son sings and does plays. So these kids are all theater kids. So they're all kind of like, and they've all been friends since I want to say at least middle school. One of
That's
them
cool,
since
though.
elementary school. So, but I'm actually filling before the limo comes to get them. I'm filling it with happy birthday balloons,
Oh, nice.
and I'm writing happy birthday on the back window because I know the girl who owns the limo place.
Oh, sweet.
So I'm gonna my son's birthday's on prom.
Oh, that's
His 18th birthday, so I'm just gonna
Oh, that's even
decorate.
better.
Yeah, I'm gonna decorate as much as I can. So it's crazy.
See, like these are the stories I want to hear because like these are moments that you look forward to
Oh.
because there's all these. There's so many moments
I'm
just
gonna
from
be
the
that
second
mom.
you give birth. Well, first steps, first words, things like that, and you just hear about all these moments that people have, and it's like I envy you in a good way.
Thank you.
Like I'm not jealous. I envy you guys in a good way because
thousands of pictures.
Well, what's good with you too is you can hang out with kids and then they go home later and you can have your peaceful time.
I send the kids right back
Exactly.
to their parents.
Just borrow them for a little while,
Yeah.
and then when they start misbehaving, you just ship them back home.
Yeah.
Ethan never went to either of his proms.
Really?
Yeah, he was
I went to
never
both
really.
mine. I had better time on my senior. Well, I like the dress better my senior prom.
Yeah. Oh, my senior prom gown was awesome.
My senior prom gown was turquoise with the big bows in the back and the black. What did they crushed velvet? Velvet. What was that?
Velour.
Velour? Is
Yeah.
that what it was?
It's like crushed velvet, just
Yeah.
a cheaper version,
Yeah. Oh.
more affordable version.
Yeah. No, that's right. That's
Yeah.
exactly what it was. Because it's yeah.
Look at pretty.
What are you guys looking at?
My kids.
See, and this is
Kids
what
and
moms
children.
do. So let me, and you guys keep doing what you're doing.
Now
so
I don't do this because I never really have pictures of my children
you should
with
start
me.
taking pictures of your kids.
I don't want to be one of those moms because I'm not going to force people to look at my kids. They're too handsome for everybody else's eyes.
You're so modest.
Her kid.
Oh my god, yeah. Oh my god. Well, this is what I mean. Your kids are
a lot
gorgeous.
different looking these days too.
Right.
They're better looking than we were kids.
Yeah,
Right.
your kids are beautiful.
Yeah.
All your kids are beautiful. But no, it was funny because I kept watching you two where they're like, if anybody is just either tuning in or whatnot, we're talking about Mother's Day, and I have 3 women here who have never met before tonight, and I love that you guys get along. This is so cool. But you do the mom thing, showing the pictures and say, oh, this is mine. And I'm like, let me get a picture of my cat. Hold on.
So that's no, but it's a kind of an interesting perspective because before I had kids,
Yeah.
you know, there were coworkers that I worked with that had children, and then they'd always tell me about their kids, and I
Yeah.
listened with half of an ear, and I could care less, honestly. And now I'm that mom that's like, oh, these are my kids, and oh my God, listen to what my son did today or my daughter did today, and I have 9 million stories, and I could care less if they have kids or not. I'm sharing.
Yeah.
And now, when other people have babies, because I like babies so much, I'm like, can you please send me a picture of your baby at least once a week so I can see how she's growing? Like, I know I've never seen her before, and we just met, but there's no
We
way
just
in my
met.
life.
Anybody want some?
And I just want to, like,
Not right
sniff
now.
their babies if I have a chance, because babies smell
They
great.
do. They smell nice. Well,
They do.
Most of the time.
We're also gorging on pizza down here, you guys. So
Yes.
this is what I love about doing this whole thing. Like, I can do whatever, we can do whatever we want.
Pizza.
Oh, I got any emails? Is it anything?
Wine.
No, but it's nothing.
Hey, you can
I
have-
love when the
you
house
can have
phone.
some because I kind of stuck to them.
Yeah, it's all right.
All right, great.
No, I'm good.
Yeah,
Want some?
peeking out. Do you want to choose it?
No, I'm good right now.
Everyone's good?
Thanks, Jen. So, I just thought that was really cute when you guys were doing that. Just because I was like,
Because that's a thing.
I'm
moms
like,
do.
I'll be that mom. Here, look.
I'll be that mom here. But no, I
Kids
just
are
think
the
it's,
best.
I just think it's amazing. Like now, what was it like? Okay, well, this is a good one because I was cute. Like your first Mother's Day. Like, granted, the kids are only like, you know, not very old, but I mean, it's your first Mom's Day. Like, did you do anything? Like, were you pregnant on Mother's Day, or would you? How did your?
I had been the day after
Yeah.
Mother's Day, so I felt like it wasn't my day yet
Yeah.
because I was so giant pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had him the next day, which was planned, so it was kind of for me, but not really.
Mm-hmm.
And then the first month, I really have no memories of it, but I probably don't feel special at all on Mother's Day. And I know that sounds kind of
You
crappy
should.
because it's not like
I
people.
get it.
It's not like people that like my husband does great things for me, my kids do great things
Right.
for me, but I don't feel special.
You should, because you guys do a lot.
Yeah,
No, but it makes sense though.
it's a weird. Yeah, it's a weird.
Yeah.
I think
Yep.
a lot of moms feel that way.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
you see stuff on Facebook and all these like pictures of all the things that people are doing, and it's kind of annoying to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's nice that they post all these happy moments, but I'm like, come on, what's really behind that?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just
Nope.
don't feel the need to share, and I have no problem with people that do. Don't get me wrong, but
Oh, right. Yeah.
like I wonder though.
No, but it's like
are
pump
they
the brakes a
happier than
little
me?
bit.
Or- yeah, are they happier
No.
than me, or
Or is it a facade?
is it
Yeah.
you know
Is
what
it
am
a
I not
facade?
doing to
Well,
be
I used a big word.
asking for
That
like
word.
what, am I missing something? I mean that's I think that's what I feel like.
Yeah.
Am I supposed to be posting these things too?
Mm-hmm.
That's I think is it's not that I'm judging them, but I'm wondering am I not doing something I should be doing?
No,
I
and
think,
that you should never think that, because if you want to do it, you'll do it.
Right.
You know, you're never.
Yeah.
You should never feel obligated to do that. Social media is only there,
It's an emotional dumpster. That's what my sister
And-
calls
like
Facebook.
if you
an
want to do
emotional
it. Like
dumpster.
if you
Yeah.
want to put it out there, but you're not obligated. It's not like
Also,
because it's your
too,
private life. Some stuff can
there's
say
an
private.
aspect that they may be really happy about in their life that same aspect in your life you're not, but you could have some glorious moments that they don't have.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
Mhm.
That's
So-
why I'm like I like them. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
wow, look at that. That's a great picture. But
I'm
I
happy
can't
for you,
put
but-
myself
Yeah,
to do any of those things.
I don't really post that kind. On
I post
social
pictures.
media. I post my dark feelings.
I post my food
So
pictures.
rough.
I
Usually.
search for food pictures.
I just put
Aw,
random
that's
stuff on there.
weird. Yeah.
Recipes.
See
I'm
how
like,
that went
oh,
with that? That worked perfect.
Like sharing it with my husband, like make that.
I love Pinterest for that stuff. You know, I think we're veering off. So this is what happens, Jen. We'll start with a topic, and we go in a completely different direction, and sometimes we circle back.
Squirrel.
Absolutely.
Squirrel.
I don't remember my first Mother's Day.
Really?
Yeah.
I was pregnant. I
Um,
was a week.
Mhm.
Yeah, after Mother's Day.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
I get you. I remember my worst Mother's Day when I tried to shave his head, and I didn't really do a good job, and he looked like Tom Hanks in Philadelphia because he had patches of like hair, and then bald spots, and then patches, and then bald spots.
It's a memorable Mother's Day.
Yeah, I never shaved his head again after that. Nope.
And you didn't remember
What?
your
He's two. You want
My
20 bucks?
first,
Shave his head. I
no.
don't care.
No.
Yeah.
really?
It was horrible.
Yeah. I mean, but I probably, I likely went out to eat with, baby dad's mother and him and me and our kid.
Yeah.
Probably, but I don't really remember.
It's gotten better as he's gotten older. Because
Yeah.
at least that, like, making stuff for you. Like, do they ever make anything for you guys?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I actually got an awesome gift today. And
You
we couldn't
did?
wait. She couldn't wait for her to give me her present.
Oh, what
She
did
made
you?
me a card, which was cute.
I love homemade.
But she
I
made
too.
in art some plaster flower, that like a purple flower. It looked like a rose with green leaves, and she's really artistic, so it's cute. It's only about this big, so it
Yeah.
goes on my desk. And I
Oh.
save all the stuff that they make like that.
Yes.
I try to save as much paper, but I find that I'm throwing it away when they're not looking. But I save like the pottery things that they make.
Yeah, that's cute.
Or like the
necklaces,
macaroni people
yeah.
and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Macaroni
Yeah.
necklaces. We've all made one of those.
And
Did
I
you ever
really
get one?
like them.
Yeah.
I
Mm.
like them.
I've gotten
Yeah.
I've gotten like little clay pots,
Probably.
Mm-hmm.
you know, for Mother's Day from Ethan and Crowley,
Yeah,
and like
Yeah, they're great ring holders. And
yeah,
just, like,
yeah,
little
absolutely,
that's cute.
Yeah.
I actually, that little purple ceramic thing up there
yeah,
on the piano, Lydia made that for me.
nice.
The girl that said what you said about me in 50 years old.
Do you still have any of your pottery ashtrays that you may have made from high school pottery class?
I never took pottery. St.
You
Mary's had
didn't have-
pottery?
You didn't have double art like me?
No, you were the only one who had double art.
I was special. I was so bad at math that they
So
felt bad for me and pulled me out.
I forgot you told me that the last time you were
Yeah,
here.
and
Special.
they made double art. I got to draw in one class and make clay ashtrays. in the other one.
I forgot about that. Oh, well, no, I didn't even know they had pottery.
Oh, I was really good at it.
That was great. I am special.
Yeah.
That was great.
Oh my God, that school, man.
What school is that?
St. Mary's. Good old high school.
So I have a question.
I didn't do it.
No,
I might have.
I would like to get, since we're all different, we all have boys, you have a girl, and they're all different ages, and we're all raising our kids in a very different time from when we grew up. I'd like to talk about points of view on, right now there's a huge controversy about how girls are dressing in school with like
What is up
things
with that
off
whole
the shoulder,
dress
like
code
their
thing with the kids?
bra
Like,
straps showing, and
Like-
how,
Oh,
because there's been a lot of. Oh, did you just? Yep, that's gonna come out so funny when I listen to this. I cannot wait to listen to this now. What time is it? Try not to my pee a little. No, I'm kidding. I don't.
I'm like, what is that?
All right, I'm gonna look that. I can't wait to listen to that tomorrow. I actually did that with my phone. I was gonna take a picture of my cousin, and my phone hit this thing, and I'm
Yeah.
like, what the hell?
That's great.
Yeah, I'm like, gonna take a picture. Oh, sorry.
That's awesome. Good
Oh
stuff.
my God. But we're all serious for a second and leave it to Jen to knock her head on the microphone. But
Yep, you brought me here.
you are right. Like I mean, like I
Good
said,
stuff.
I did bring you here. It was on purpose.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You came of your own free will.
I know, right?
No free will. But no. I've noticed some of those articles or stories coming up with the kids and where they dress. I mean, do they really dress that obnoxious? I mean, I had we had uniforms,
Yeah.
so we didn't have to worry about it. Or
No, but it's funny that you brought that up because Jade and I were walking through the mall the other day, and he saw something a girl was wearing. I mean, he didn't say anything because I said, I don't understand. I go, so girls can't wear a pretty little sundress with a little strap because you boys can't keep your eyes to yourself. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense to me at all. He's like, no, it doesn't.
like,
They
up
can't
at,
wear,
I mean, we were able
They
to.
can't wear, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't go to a public school, but I mean,
Did you
I-
wear a uniform?
yeah.
You did?
Yeah, we both did. We went to see, yeah,
Nice.
the plaid. I used to always wear shorts underneath.
Yeah.
I always wore shorts underneath, roll those things up because we didn't like them. We like them above the knee.
To go in the bathroom like the crazy girl that changed into your
Yeah,
you're a weirdo.
I always wear my hair on top of my head.
Yeah.
Pebbles. They used to call me. Some people used to call me Pebbles. But yeah, that was that's funny. But yeah, we wore uniforms, so we didn't have to worry about that. But like these kids, I guess some of the clothes you see them wearing, like they are kind of on the scheme. I mean, maybe it's just because that wasn't our style.
No, there's girls that do wear shorts that there's no point of them even having them on.
like you can,
Yeah.
and it's like
That's why
you
I'm
know
glad.
what,
Yeah.
you can't, because even with the young boys,
Mm-hmm.
they're growing, they're turning into young men, and
it's a
yeah. I mean, it can't be.
What a
And
lot of people
girls
need to
grow
understand.
faster than boys.
Mhm.
Yeah,
they
do.
do. They do. I personally,
it's a slippery thing.
Uh-oh.
I believe in your rights, but when you're that young, you should not dress like a frickin' 20-year-old. I'm
No.
sorry.
Dress your
Right.
Dress
Dress your
appropriate.
age.
Absolutely.
Dress your
Yeah.
age.
Mhm.
Also,
I agree too.
you can't really. Everyone's putting the blame on the boys. Women do not understand how difficult it is for boys to control, which they can't, their hormones. And at those ages,
Yeah.
it's painful, it's difficult, it's
Well, 'cause-
socially awkward.
Yeah. I mean,
And-
it's like that for girls, though, because
No,
we
it
went
is.
through it.
It is, absolutely. Absolutely. But don't say boys need to learn how to respect. Yes, they do.
I think they both
But
do.
girls also
Boys and
need to
girls.
learn how to respect themselves. I'm
Yes.
sorry, but if
Yeah.
you dress scantily clad,
Yeah, but if
I'm
it's like
sorry to say, you deserve comments.
right, but if you wear a
You know?
sundress with a
No,
small
that's
strap,
different.
they
That's a
can't even
dress.
wear. Yeah, but they like if it has like a thin.
A spaghetti strap is like a bra strap, you know? And I'm sorry, but when you're a young dude, just seeing a bra strap can give you a freaking boner. And that's awkward in the middle
I'm not
class.
laughing. It's just, you're
You know?
right, because they.
No, it's true. It's
they're
funny, but
new.
it's true, and it's a serious topic. And I hate seeing all these people putting all the responsibility on the boys and them learning this and that. Girls need to, it's just not fair, in my opinion.
It should always be 50-50.
It's an equal thing. They
It should
both
always
need to
be.
learn respect for each other and themselves.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah.
starts at home, not
Yeah.
in
That's the
school, you
problem.
know?
Yeah.
It is
What's
the
happening,
problem.
yeah.
You have
But
two
not- but
parents,
you-
they
but-
both need to work to make ends meet.
You also
a
have to be
single
mindful
mom,
that there
you
are.
know, or
It's not
dad.
every house though. Like as we know, like you say,
Right.
right? It's the society generalizing the situation as a whole.
And you
there
just
and
can't.
you know there are a lot of parents out there that try to be their friends before their parents. I think that's a problem too. But I
That
mean, like I
is
said, I'm not a parent. so
No,
I'm
no,
also-
they have
there's also a lot
the
of
kid
parents
has to
out
know
there-
the fine line.
Yeah,
Right,
and there
yeah.
are parents
I
out there that
struggle
are
with
afraid
that,
to be
too.
parents,
Yeah.
and they
I
can't.
struggle.
You can't.
Yeah.
You can't.
I know when you get pissed, Jen. Get the hell out of the way.
Well, there's a line between discipline and abuse. You know what
Oh
I
yeah.
mean?
Oh, of course.
And-
Oh yeah.
And you spank the kid on the bottom when they're 6, and they're like, I want emancipation, or whatever that word is. You know, like no, sorry.
I
Some
was
kids just
whacked,
to get- yeah.
I was whacked, and I'll whack my kids if they do wrong.
You know,
Yeah.
if you do something to deserve
Yeah,
that, I'm gonna do
absolutely.
that.
There's something about discipline and, like you said, abuse. I mean, it's when you know, people are getting, and this is in general with a lot of areas, is that everything is there's so much gray area where back in the day there were certain situations where it was pretty much a black and white situation. You knew what to do and what not to do. None of this, 50-mile radius of gray matter that you could,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
today I felt this way,
Right.
but yesterday I felt this way, or now I relate, and I'm not just homosexuality, but just as a whole, but everybody's so, it's like, there is there has to be a little more black and white in some situations, but you're right, it's about respecting each other and themselves,
The problem is they're not being taught how to respect
right.
each
it's
other.
different,
Right.
and that's
I see it all the time. Like when I like just
Or
you
they
know,
have a certain point of view of what respect is, and it's just not correct.
no, they're all there. It's entitlement.
Yes,
Right,
thank
right.
you.
They're
Oh,
all
yes, that's the word.
It's
Nobody
all
is entitled
entitlement.
to
That's
No,
the word.
I know that, and you know that,
Shit.
right? But these kids,
No, you could say it. This
but
is,
these, but it's you
Seriously.
feel like you're old when you say these kids these days, but they are little. Yeah, it's not okay.
Our grandparents and our parents are the same thing about us, but it seems like it's magnified like tenfold now.
we were
compared to
we
when
were
we
different. We are a
kids.
completely different
And
generation.
it's the tech age.
Like, when I used to-
everything's at your fingertips now. You don't have to work for anything.
I always go back to where I was when I was my son's age. So he's going to be 14.
That's a good way to look at it.
When I was 14, what was I doing
Absolutely.
compared to what he's doing?
Yeah.
He's not doing half the crap that I did. He doesn't even have access to it. He's a lot more intelligent than I was, and just has access to different things. So it's completely different.
And you have to break it down to them, or they don't understand.
Yeah.
They just think you're
I had
nagging
way
them.
more
Right,
freedom
yeah.
than he did.
I lived on my own. I moved out at 16. This kid's 17. My kid,
Yeah.
he's just
If
we're
you
chill.
explain-
Not to be like I'm not,
Yeah.
but you know what I mean. You have to explain to them what you were doing and how you were doing it because they just
Yeah.
think that like
Yeah.
they think they have it so hard.
Mm-hmm.
And like,
and if you-
no,
if you explain things to
I feel old.
Oh my
I know.
God.
I know.
You know what I
what
mean?
you mean.
But
well,
it's-
we're
but it's-
actually. Let's see. Who is? I think I'm the oldest. I think.
I'm 43.
Oh yeah, I got you. Yeah, you're not even 40 yet, so shut up.
I'm almost
Me
there.
and you. Almost reborn.
It's on, girl. It's on. September 72.
2 more months. I'll be
You're
40.
the old lady in the room.
See, but I'm still in the age where I can flip it around.
Yeah, you're at that.
See, I'm
you're
at the very
cusp.
last
You're
age
the
where I can
cusp.
flip it around.
You're the
I
cusp.
am at the last age. We're gonna flip it. Well,
Yeah.
no, if I flip it around, I'm the same age.
I don't need to flip nothing. People think I'm in my 20s. I'm fine with that.
Well, a lot of people, a lot of people think I'm younger than I am.
Isn't that great?
I think it's just because I don't act my age.
My sister likes to tell people that I'm older than her because I have darker hair and she's blonde. I'm like, really? Because yours comes from a bottle and you have 4 years on me. Because she's like this sassy little. She used to be like she didn't really used to do a lot. And now she rides a
does
Harley and she works out every day.
Yeah, she has her
and
own
she does a
Harley.
little boxing thing. She has her own business and she works at a law firm. And I'm like, where did you come from? And I'm the one, I'm like, no, I'm going home. I'm going to bed. I'm good.
I'm gonna go drive to the dumpster.
I'm gonna
now.
go hold it. I'm gonna drive to the dumpster and then come back and hold down my couch. I'm good. But she's like, she's a sassy one.
I'm sorry you brought that up, and I just went right back
Yeah,
into the car.
because it's really not that far.
She would back. You would back out of the driveway, but we would just go stay in reverse. We wouldn't even do So we stop.
I don't know what I call the fact. So
And
it's
then
just like.
and then we would drive back and park the car.
Just keep it in reverse. The fact that you went for the ride with her, though, is pretty funny.
This is what a true friend does.
Dumpster runs.
So funny.
A 100-foot dumpster run.
We're going for a ride.
Oh my
Come back in 30
god.
seconds. What happened?
Oh, we're yawning already.
Funny.
See, that's moms because we're so busy.
It's the wine, that's why
We're
I-
so busy all the time.
Oh, are you drinking
We're
wine?
yawning
No, I
early.
said that's why they're yawning.
I'm
It's
in
the
bed
wine.
by
That's
8:30,
why.
But I don't fall
Oh,
asleep
yes.
until like after 10.
Yes.
I might be
I go to
dumb,
bed
but
at
I'm not
4.
stupid.
4 a.m.
But that's just
I'm
because I'm not
stupid.
working right now.
No,
and
you're
with
stupid.
my foot surgery and
Stupid.
I can't.
That was-
I have a hard time sleeping, so I
Killed
just
me with
stay up and do bird switches and watch TV.
I can't wait to get to bed.
I'm glad
every
you
night.
picked
It's
up
like
on it.
the
You're the first
half time
person.
of the day.
Most
Yeah.
people either
I'm
know
like,
what I'm
in
talking about,
there, I'm just
but you're the only one who's
so
Well,
sitting
the
in
bed
the
is
actual
like a
gif. I'm
cozy
like,
place
she
because
gets
it
it.
comforts you in all of your happy or
dying.
sad moments.
It's the best place ever.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's good
Oh my
stuff.
goodness. So, this is fun.
I love being a mom, though. I would never change it for anything. No matter the stress that my kids give me, and you know,
So that's
being
why I didn't do
pains
the
in
mom
the
run, 'cause you
asses
can't
and
bring them back
stuff.
to the store. I
Yeah,
love kids.
I
I,
love
just
it,
don't want to
though.
own any.
Yeah, yeah.
There's well, I mean, I'm a parent, so if I wasn't a parent, I probably would have something else to say that was just as rewarding. But in my point of view, there's
No, I had
nothing
nothing.
as
I don't
rewarding
have kids.
as
I have
like
nothing
a
good to
kid's
say.
love, you know, your child's love.
That's
It's
awesome.
pretty amazing.
It is amazing. It's an unconditional.
And when I was pregnant with Ethan, I was 15 when I got pregnant.
Mhm.
I was 16 when I had him.
Yep.
Um,
And that's
in
tough.
high school.
And that's having a child so young is
Yeah.
very hard.
A lot
You
of
know?
people didn't even know that I was pregnant
Really?
in school. Yeah. And when I came back, you're supposed to have 6 to 8 weeks maternity leave or whatever, and the school said, "Well, you have to come back at 3 months, or you're gonna repeat your junior year." And I'm like, "Fuck that!" So I did. I went back after 3 months, but
Yeah.
a lot of I was looked down. You know,
Yeah,
a
'cause
lot.
it wasn't
Like
it
a
wasn't,
lot of the popular like slutty girls that could get any guy they want were like, ew, she's a whore, right? A whore calling me a whore.
See, I'd rather I like call myself that now, but I'm older, so
Yeah.
it's okay.
So so like a lot of people
So
look
you're an
down on
older
me,
whore?
and teenage
You got-
moms.
Because you got caught and had something. That
Yeah,
resulted from
but
that.
you know what
Yeah.
though? The person I was with that I had the baby with, we were in love and
Yeah.
we were together
Well,
for
that
a
makes
long
a huge
time.
difference.
So it wasn't just like a oops and then
Yeah.
he fled. He was there
Yeah.
in our
Yeah, that's
lives for like all the time.
Yeah.
And I found it funny because, you know, teenage moms, like, they just get this they get shoved into a stereotype.
Yeah,
and,
it's not cool. It's not
and
fair. Not by any means.
guaranteed there are some teenage mothers out there that don't have that yet.
They
You
don't
know
live
what I
up
mean?
to it yet.
Um,
know,
but,
but-
don't stereotype all of them because I raised him by myself. Yeah, I was living in my mother's house. Yes,
Yeah.
my mother watched him when I went to school, but I got out half days, came home,
But you
Took
were
care of
going to
him,
school, so
did my homework.
you know what I mean?
and
You
I
were
went
doing what
to
you
a
needed to
job.
do.
I
Yeah,
got out
and
half days because
that's
I had a
huge.
job
that's
Yeah.
huge.
at
Yeah.
16 to support myself and my
See,
kid.
and that's the thing. It's not it's
That's so hard.
it's
It's
not
very
easy.
hard.
I mean,
But
you
you
guys.
know what? I graduated on time with my class.
Yay!
That's
and you're not an old mom
huge.
now,
And I'm not
Yeah.
an old mom. He's 23, and people think we're brother and sister when they see.
Actually,
together.
yeah, they do. You almost look like.
He
siblings.
looks a lot like me, so like
Yeah.
we do look like so. And when
Yeah.
I would take him out at like 12 and 13, you know, like sometimes I would pretend I was his older sister, not to embarrass him in front of the kids he saw at the mall that he knew, you know.
Oh, but embarrassing the kids
That's
is probably
awesome.
a whole lot of fun. My mother used to do that
Sometimes,
all the
yeah,
time.
yeah, but you know, when there's like cute girls, you don't want to be that embarrassing.
No,
mom.
you
you want
wanna
to
be
cool,
kinda
You know what I
cool.
mean?
Yeah.
So,
I'd still go for it.
I know you would.
I'd still so
I was.
go
You know
for
what?
it. I'm so not appropriate sometimes. I'm not
okay, that's
inappropriate, but I
okay.
just go. I don't even. His friends, yeah, his friends just expect nothing but.
I found it funny that like all those girls that looked down at me, like I found out years later, like 5 years after graduation, they all had kids, and like they couldn't handle it. They like had to
Oh.
pawn their kids off onto their mothers and their
Oh.
fathers, and I'm like,
That's not.
you girls looking down bad at me, and
look
I
at
took
you.
care of it myself, and
Yeah.
you're older now, and you can't handle it. I'm like, shame on you. You know,
It's not an easy job.
it's not easy.
No.
You know,
What, did you guys have any weird cravings when you were
Oh,
pregnant?
absolutely.
What did
shit,
you What
yeah.
did you have?
Garlic, which I never liked before that.
But you still eat it still?
Yeah, iced coffee
Iced coffee
and lemonade.
and lemonade. That's
Random.
No
yeah,
food?
no,
Anything?
I didn't care. Just
Yeah.
as long as I had those 3 things.
it? What about you?
Yeah.
Weird.
With my son, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for all 3 meals.
That's awesome.
Really? Oh,
Yes,
that's so...
and real Coke, like real Coca-Cola.
Oh,
I love
like-
peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah,
I do too.
me
So
too.
good.
I smack some fluff on there and
so
make
right?
it a party.
No, you gotta do a
So
banana
much of
too.
It was ridiculous. And then
Minus
my
the jelly.
daughter ate a watermelon.
Oh, yeah?
Like, I was obsessed with it. I couldn't get enough of it. I would eat it like
It's just
so
wrong
much
on so many
watermelon.
now,
levels.
were you pregnant with your daughter in the winter when like native watermelon
No,
wasn't
they were
available?
both. They were both.
Oh,
like,
you had
one was
watermelon with
May,
who?
one's
I
June.
missed that part.
My daughter.
Okay.
Watermelon was like all I thought about.
Oh, jeez.
Nice.
They should have good cravings though. Watermelon and peanut butter and
Yeah.
jelly. Yum.
Jelly. I still want peanut butter and jelly, not for all 3 meals. though.
Yeah.
I still eat peanut butter and jelly.
I like
love
it on the
a
flatbread. You know, like
fresh
that
bread.
flat, like
and it's got to be
'cause it
really
says
fresh bread.
paper
Yeah.
thin.
Well, I
Yeah.
drank it.
So
I ate
good.
it on white, like old-fashioned, like white bread.
Yeah,
Wonder
like
Bread.
Wonder Bread.
Yeah, exactly.
That's exactly what the
Yeah.
first visual I had was the Wonder Bread.
Skippy,
The little
grape
dots.
jelly, white bread.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted.
Skippy, that's all I eat. I don't
Oh,
like.
that's funny. And what about you,
Uh,
Miss Susan?
with Ethan, I still eat this now, and everybody thinks it's gross.
Tell us.
Dill pickle and peanut butter sandwiches.
Oh no,
You
that just
know, I just read something about
Oh
that.
my
That is
God,
a good thing.
It is
Is it?
amazing. Like you get the
actually
sandwich
that doesn't sound
stackers.
too off to be
Yeah.
bad.
You know?
Okay.
The-
yep,
the
yep,
sandwich
yep. The
stackers?
thin-
I can't
the
do
ones
that.
sliced.
It does
Yeah,
sound gross.
Yeah.
And then
I'll
you
have to
just
admit that,
you
but
put
I don't-
peanut butter on one slice
see that
and
being something a
stack your
pregnant woman
pickles
would
on
wanna
top, and oh, it is good.
With bread?
Yeah, yeah,
Huh.
yeah. That so with
See, I don't
Ethan,
know
that
if I
was
could
my
do that.
craving.
I like both of those things. I just don't know
can't.
if I could eat it together. April's gag.
Just kidding. I'm like,
Hey, I don't care. It's
no, I'm
great.
kidding. It does sound like I was just telling Jen. I said I don't find it appealing whatsoever, but I can see that being a pregnant woman's
Yeah.
snack or
It's
something
funny
she
that you
wants
read
to eat.
about that. And then with
Someone
Crowley,
famous eats that all the time, and I can't remember who. It
Oh,
was the other day I read that. I'm like, wow, what a strange.
well, who's
combination.
pregnant? Who's
Nice.
famous and pregnant?
Oh, it was
See,
I feel like
a
it
lot
was
going
like
on
Hoda
here.
Kotb and
See what
that
happens?
other lady that they do
Jen.
that show in the morning.
oh,
I
okay,
think they were eating that.
all right, nice.
What are you, Flo?
yeah, escape.
What'd you say?
Escape.
No, I was telling her. I said, see, because you were telling her how it'll take a mind if it's on the conversation. And I went,
Funny story
oh what?
with Escape. I told Heather my niece is gonna give birth like any day now.
Dory.
I told her I was gonna take a recording of Just Keep Swimming, and play it while she's in labor.
Oh, jeez.
I didn't have labor.
I didn't
didn't?
either. I had an emergency C-section.
I
I
had
didn't.
2 planned C-sections.
Yeah,
Oh,
I had an emergency
Labor?
one, so
Yes, both.
I never
But-
experienced a
Yeah, very short.
contraction, Braxton
Yeah.
Hicks. Nope.
wow.
No pain.
So I'd be on both of those. You did?
No, yeah, both C-sections.
Yeah, so if
I
you ever
no
had-
clue
yeah.
what labor is.
Me either.
at all.
I'm right there with you.
And people talk about it, and I'm like, oh,
Can't relate. Sorry.
yeah, I can't relate
Yep.
at all.
And no, it wasn't natural. I definitely got like the epidural.
Yeah, because
Um,
she had the labor.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had to
Yeah.
get epidural for a
See, that's the part I just
finding
can't.
for the
You know,
C-section.
I'm a goddamn.
It's
fan.
scary when
You
you
know,
can't feel anything from
You know,
your
it was
chest
actually
down.
Something that both my
scared the-
pregnancies, I actually very much
scared the
enjoyed.
hell- Yeah.
Oh yeah.
one
What
of
about
the-
like sickness, like
Multiple
morning
times to get
sickness?
my spinal right.
Yeah, but you know what? You just keep cracking
nine
inside your bed.
tries
And morning
to get
sickness
the
doesn't
needle in.
happen in the morning.
No,
And
it doesn't.
anesthesia
It
happens
all day.
anytime.
And I told my husband,
Yeah.
he's like,
And
"We've
you just
never
keep
seen
water-
anybody go
And it
through
worked?
that
The
without
crackers
making
worked?
one
Yeah.
sound. 'Cause I
Oh
thought
my
it was
God.
Saltines and
Yeah.
water. I
No
kept
idea.
beside the bed all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Just
So
so
when
I
they
woke
held
up
your
feeling
breath while it
nauseous.
burned in the back.
Take a
Yep.
couple bites
Yeah.
and
That was terrible.
That's scary though, like laying there and all you could feel the pressure but not the pain. That scared the hell out of me. But my anesthesiologist was an older guy with sky blue eyes, so I just stared into his eyes the entire
You stopped
time.
at just the right time, listening to trying to
Yeah.
hit on the anesthesiologist.
is it the one that looks like Ray Liotta?
No.
Oh,
What?
there's an anesthesiologist at the Holy Family.
No, this was a
Oh,
okay.
No, this was a Beverly.
He looks like
Oh.
Ray
That's
Liotta,
right,
but
you
he's
had
like
him in
gray
Beverly.
hair and ice blue eyes, and
I love that
woo,
color
or like
eyes,
Cal
yeah.
Ripken Jr. or something.
Blue
Very
eyes.
handsome.
I was morning sickness. Did you guys get a lot of the, or morning, afternoon, night, mid
Nope,
morning?
Never.
just a lot of heartburn.
Puke,
Heartburn.
but was nauseous
Yeah.
with one of them. I don't remember which one, honestly.
Oh my
Nauseous,
goodness.
but never puked. But I have friends that puked every single day,
Really?
9 months, whole 9 months, pulled over, like couldn't drive to work without
Oh man,
puking.
that's crazy.
And I didn't have that.
That
And I
made me
felt so bad
miserable.
for those
Oh
people.
my God.
Yeah,
Oh my
I've
God.
never
Oh.
thrown up either. I
Yeah.
had the nausea, the bad nausea, and I was telling April I just would have soda crackers and water
I
beside the
think I
bed.
just
So
had
if I
peanut butter
ever,
and
yeah, if I ever felt that
You're
way,
a rock
Oh,
star.
I was
Mary
like a
J.
small elephant by the time I gave birth.
A little short round.
You know what's so funny
Aw.
too? Like the first time it was pretty bad. The second time I had gestational diabetes, and I looked.
Oh, did your feet swell up and
Have-
everything?
Yes. I mean,
Yeah.
I,
See,
well, I
mine did
used
that
to wear a
'cause-
size
just 'cause-
7. I'm
Yeah.
down an 8.5. I've never gone back down. But I looked so terrible that people, after I had my daughter, they were like, "We thought that you weren't going to make it through it." Like they thought that I was going to die.
Wow.
It
Oh,
was that bad.
God.
gee, thanks.
That's
It's not that I
scary.
gained a ton of weight. But
Yeah. You just didn't look the
So
same.
I wasn't so I had gestational diabetes. I wasn't diagnosed with anything, but after I had her, they had a lead cuff on me checking my blood pressure because it was really high,
Yeah.
and it was so high that they had to put me on blood pressure medication, which I'd never been on.
Oh,
and
my
I had
goodness.
issues with my blood pressure, and I remember being at my house. And my cousin was there, and he's the godfather. And I looked at him, and I'm like, "I can't see you right now. Everything's black. I'm
Oh,
like,
my
I
God.
can't leave. I think I might pass out and
Mhm.
die." And he's like, "Are you freaking kidding me right now?" I'm like, "No, I'm dead serious." I'm like, and I kept talking and talking and talking until I could see him again. But everything just, it was like I was passing out, but trying to control myself.
Oh my God.
That was terrifying.
That is
That's
I
scary.
walked. So after that, I talked to the doctor. I'm like, "I don't want to be on blood pressure medication. I'm scared. I don't want to die."
yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, "You're not going to die." He's like, "You need to walk." He's like, "Walk as much as you can." So my dad like loves me to pieces, and he would every morning he would pick me up, and me and my baby and my dad would walk the loop.
Nice.
We would do like
Oh,
3 or 4
nice.
miles
Nice.
every single day, and like I walked my way out of blood pressure medication.
That's
like
awesome.
between June and September, but it was like
Nice.
terrifying because like all I kept thinking, I'm going to be one of those moms that just like dies in her sleep and
yeah.
leaves 2 kids. It's frightening.
That's
Oh
a
my
lot of
God.
pressure.
Very dramatic, but
Of course.
I'm sure it's very normal. But for like when you're going through it, like what the hell is
Right,
happening
yeah,
here?
absolutely.
Why is
see-
my body like rejecting
Yeah.
me? It's messed up.
It
See, this
messed
is
up.
another side of motherhood that men have it easy in this respect because this what you just told us.
Mhm.
Your body goes through
Trauma.
a huge
Yeah,
trauma.
absolutely.
I mean, and I'm not saying this to sound gross, and I'm really not, but I'm using it at the most basic of descriptive relationships. They call being pregnant is considered a parasitic because you keep the baby
Oh,
alive
thank
until you. But in this kind of relationship, you give birth to a beautiful child. It's not
Right.
like the
Yeah,
But
I love my kid, but it's
within
super
you, and it
creepy.
pulls everything out of you. It
You
pulls
know,
all your
that's-
nutrients from you, so it's
that's-
parasitic in
it's
that
a
way.
parasitic
Yeah.
by definition because you're their host until
It takes your
they're
Yeah.
born.
protein, it
And-
takes your oxygen, your all your iron, all of
Yeah,
it.
And that's the thing. And like men are supportive, a lot of them, and a lot of them aren't. And every single one of them don't get it, even if they're supportive or not. It's just because you don't experience it. It's not
Yeah,
like I'm
men
trying-
carry their cash and change. We carry a human life.
And then
They have
after
nothing on us.
you
No.
have the baby,
Nothing.
your hair might not ever go back to the same thing.
You said your feet
skin
never went
won't
back
be
to
the same.
like. I mean, it's
Your
just
body just
Yeah.
doesn't-
My
Yeah.
You don't
thyroid never
replenish
went
all
back
of
to the
that.
same.
Some people's bodies go back. My body never
Oh.
went back to the way it was. It wasn't great before, but it will never go back
Stop.
ever.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I tried saying,
Yeah.
oh, it's because, it's my baby weight. My husband's like, yeah, your kid's 17.
Yeah.
It's not baby weight anymore.
Well, listen. What's my excuse? I can't call it baby
I
weight.
am just
It's 3 slices of pizza
I'm
and a giant
lazy.
glass of Coke that I just had for dinner.
lazy.
No, you're tired.
It was really good though.
Yeah, I'm lazy.
Well, yeah. Well, who
But
isn't?
yeah, I'm tired.
But
Yeah.
it's okay, but that's a choice. Like,
Yeah.
You decide, like, I'm so tired that I'm going to be lazy. and that's
Yep.
fine.
But you know what? Sometimes you have to be. Like, because you're always so busy most of the time anyway. So it's like if
Yeah.
you want to do that,
You shut down.
you should be able
and
to.
and even when you have older kids, it doesn't mean you're mothering any less because you're
Right.
still shopping, cooking, cleaning. You're
My
still
mother
being,
still takes care of me.
You're
I
still
haven't
being
grown
an
up
advocate
yet.
for your child, and that takes energy.
Well, I was telling April when I got here that I had like a mommy meltdown last night. I just kind of was sitting on the couch and I just have a lot of things, not bad things, but a lot of things coming up all in the same day. And my
Oh.
sister called me and she just said 2 words to me and I was like, I was
wow.
sobbing
Yeah.
like a 4-year-old, and my
Yeah.
sister's like, "It's okay."
Mothers
She's
spread
like,
themselves in many
well, she's-
different directions.
yeah,
and
she's
it's
like,
Yeah.
difficult.
"You're allowed to." She's like, "You have 5 things coming up in the same day."
Yeah.
she's like, in your work and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, blah, blah, blah. I got off the phone and I was like,
Yeah,
because you let it out. You
oh
let the
my
stress
God,
out,
I
you know?
was.
Yeah,
my
and on
husband's
top of being a mother, we all have to work too.
Yeah,
you know.
absolutely.
My husband's sitting on the rug watching TV, just looking at me like, I don't know what to do. You know
It's
what I
hard to
mean?
delegate too, because some of the men in our lives or in other women's lives, like, just tell me what you want me to do to help you. I don't know until I'm doing it. And
Yeah.
then you're not doing it the way I would, so I'm going to
Exactly.
redo
Yep.
it.
You can offer to help as much as you want to, but I'm not going to like the way you do it.
I'm just going to
Yeah,
go back
he just
behind
waits
you and
till I
change
ask
it.
him.
But you know, and
But
maybe
in that respect, though, I think we need to learn how to accept their way of doing something.
and I was just
because
going
they
to say that
are
because
trying to
if
help
they are
us.
really trying to help you,
That's a whole other show.
It is, yeah.
we
It's
can
difficult.
we can do this again.
Touche. That is a whole other show.
It is definitely difficult.
Because
but-
I had an
but we
idea
do.
when
We
you
have
guys
to-
when we first started talking that we should do this, like, you know, I don't know how often, but like obviously there's a good dynamic between the four of us, and we can always mix it up and add. I have
No, it's horrible. It's
Yeah.
not working.
It's
Gotta
just
go.
add each
See you,
other.
bye.
it's gonna be the worst
Like,
show
I
ever.
like her glasses better than mine, so I'm gonna
I was
throat
looking at
punch her.
those.
For...
Oh my God, I had those at one point. I loved them, and now
That's
I miss
awesome.
them.
Yeah, I got these on clearance too. Like they were just like discontinued, and I'm
They
so
were
bummed
really
because I
great.
can't get them again.
I still have the old pair, but my face got bigger, so they don't look nice. to me.
Aw. I'm sure they do.
So sad. I didn't give them to you.
That'd be great, actually, because I need a new pair. These are broken.
Next time, I'll bring all my
I
different
face
frames.
planted. Well, I let me rephrase
Face
that.
plant. I'm sorry.
I
that word
planted
always
my
makes
own
me laugh.
face.
Face plant.
I
Two
planted my
words.
own face on the back of my son's Montero. I was helping get it unstuck from the mud, and I slipped, and my face just went right into the back window, and I broke the arm on my glasses, so they don't stay on my face very well. Anyway, motherhood. Down and dirty.
Down and dirty. These
Down
are some-
and dirty.
These are some interesting stories. I'm trying to think of. Is there any? Oh, what haven't I touched on?
We got a hand raised over here.
Things.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God.
Motherhood is
They
disgusting.
got we saved a good call. See, you brought up.
You said something earlier about I'm sorry to be gross, and I'm like, honey, you're talking
Yeah,
to mothers.
seriously. I have
I
had,
don't remember what I said, but you're right. You guys have seen it all. All right. So
Yeah,
let's-
yeah.
All right. I'm gonna start with a story just because I was babysitting this person's kid, but it was a true
it's not
testament.
your own kid. It's gross.
Well, it is gross. It was disgusting. I had to cut the onesie off with a pair of scissors. His shit went all the way up his back.
Oh, yeah.
That was
Yeah.
like an everyday occurrence.
Yeah.
But I know you
Yeah.
guys, and I'm like, oh my God, how do people do this every day?
Yeah, it's
I put the
disgusting.
kid in the tub, and he sat on and I took the scissors to it, and then I washed him up. I changed him. I was fine with it.
Best
but I'm
is
like,
when they're in the car and it happens.
ooh.
That's always fun.
Gotta take the padding off and
Take him
wash
out of the
it.
seat and it's just like
At
A
that
puddle.
point, it's just like, you know what?
Throw
Buy a new car
away.
seat.
Where can I get myself a new car seat?
Yep.
Because it's just not worth it.
not it.
Not
Starting
worth
over.
Yeah.
Because you have to take the whole thing apart,
Mhm.
hose it down, rinse out
Wipe the
foam.
plastic
Yeah, it's
off,
not
like with
worth
a
it.
sandy wipe and
Light it
stuff.
on
They're-
fire,
sometimes it's
throw
like
it
a
out.
they're like a
Back
little
up
Just
from
take the
your
car
house,
seat
go
and
to
the
your
kid and put him in the
front
tub.
Suck it in.
Oh, Jen, did you catch it?
they're like
I
a little
should've laughed.
succubus for like
She's
18
gonna
years.
Take the car to the dumpster and to get rid of the
Perfect. Put it in the back of the Jeep. I'll back it up for you.
I just have had so many moments like
Every
you
time we
guys
hear it, I
had.
go back to that moment.
Like
Huh?
my house is on a hill and my mailbox is at the bottom.
Yep.
Oh, Jesus.
I drive to that thing every single
would
day
too.
because when I walk back up, it hurts my calves.
It's too far. Why?
Yeah, so
That's
I
what
drive
cars are
down.
for. That's
The
why we
driveway
have
is
our
driving in
cars.
the neighborhood. I'm like, go around this way so I can just open the window and
Yep.
grab the mail.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's what we
So
do.
I'm
We
just
pull
like you, but
right
with
up to
mail.
the box because it's like one of those big ones with like a
Mhm.
bunch of them. Yeah, I pull it right up. I'm not getting out. No way.
Yeah.
Nope. I am lazy.
And you always, when you did the boop, you always did that when we backed out too. That's the other thing I was missing is sound effects.
I gotcha.
That was funny.
Yeah, it was.
But yeah, oh man, puke and
Poop.
Yep.
Puke and poop.
puke
Yep.
and poop.
I've been puked on my face, running down my.
When you
night
change your
gown.
diaper, they pee on you. That's
Yep,
fun
as my
too.
husband
Or right after the
looking
bath,
at me
yeah.
from across the room and like dry heaving. I'm like, dude, it's going down my boobs. It's fine, and I'm still holding him close. He would have thrown him like 10 feet by now.
Yeah.
I got it.
I mean, yeah, you do.
That's
You have to.
fantastic.
You gotta deal
So
with
we're
it.
like,
you know?
Mom, I'm done.
Well, to this day, that my boy, when he has to puke, he pukes everywhere. It's
Oh,
like,
he's
a-
okay,
yeah,
now it's like,
He's a power puker.
yes. And my daughter, ever since she was a baby, I think I need to puke, and she's like, get me a bucket, and she's like, right in the bucket,
Oh, that's
right in
good.
the toilet,
Yep.
and he just sprays.
Well, you know,
I
like
think I'm just gonna
Control
paint the room.
yourself.
You don't mind, do you?
Control
yeah,
yourself.
when I'm feeling nauseous and I'm gonna vomit,
I
I
always-
get this like little thing in the back of my jaw where and my
feel
mouth
it.
starts to water.
Yes,
Mhm.
you
So
feel it.
Yeah, I
so
feel-
like
yeah.
Key indicator. Get
Yeah.
yourself a bucket.
so
Right.
I actually like taught my kids. These are the signs that your body's gonna show you
When
when
you're
you're
ready
gonna
to
throw
puke.
up. So when you feel this, run to the bathroom. Don't just stand there and panic. You know, get where you gotta go.
Yep.
Here's another thing. Have you ever been mean to your kid when they got sick?
That's a good question,
Ooh.
actually.
I take it you have.
What makes you think?
I
What
don't.
makes you think that?
I don't know
Wait, I
if I
squirrel.
say I
What was
get
the question?
mean, but like, there's definitely
I
been the
totally
times where I'm like,
squirreled.
what the fuck?
Yeah.
But like, not mad, unless it was because I told you not to eat that much of this thing, and now you're sick. You
Tonight
should
is
have
so much
friggin'
fun.
listened to me. You know,
I still missed the
That's why I told
question.
you not to eat that much because I knew you'd throw up, and like that's like.
Well,
Yeah, I want to hear this though. Tell me.
we went away. We went. What? You have something to say, April?
What was the question?
Did you ever get mean at your kid
There
when
it
they
is.
were sick?
Yeah.
Oh,
She
okay.
goes, we started laughing because she made a comment, made me laugh, and then she's like, well, "What was the question?" I went, "I completely forgot."
We went away. We were like on our way up north to go
I
skiing,
can't.
and we realized we forgot our ski passes.
Oh,
So we were pissed off as it was. We had to drive back home to get our ski passes. And my son was complaining that he wasn't feeling good. And we just thought that he didn't want to go. So we're like, whatever.
Because
So he
kids do
gets
that.
home. We get to go to get the ski passes. He goes in the bathroom and literally throws up all over the entire bathroom
no.
except for the toilet. And it was multiple times. I'm like,
You're like nice
Kind of like
shooting
when they
text.
pee.
and so I yelled at him, like, what the hell is wrong with you? I'm like, why couldn't you puke in the toilet? And he's like, half dying on the floor, like, bawling, like, oh, I'm feeling it. I'm like, clean it up. And it was just like, we were like an hour into our trip, had to drive all the way back home to get the ski pad, and I was pissed at
And
him.
now you have to
And then
clean
my
the
husband comes in,
bathroom.
he's like, what are you doing? You were so pissed at your kid.
What did
Who
he
was
do?
sick.
How'd
I'm
you
sorry,
know?
what did he do?
You're not taking pictures of me, are you?
No. We're just highly entertained.
Well, that's my family.
I love it.
So messed up. Yeah, so we were so mean to
I
him.
was like,
Poor
whoa.
kid. And it wasn't like he was
That
faking
was
it.
great.
Clearly he was sick, but we were so mean to him.
Oh.
We clean up, we get back in the car.
Kid's
He
like,
was so
what
sick
the?
that the other kid that we met up there, that kid was sick for like 2 straight days afterwards. So we brought our contagious kid
Oh yeah.
skiing who
Great.
infected all these other
You
people.
caused an epidemic.
You brought scurvy with you?
Yeah, we caused it. We're like,
I love that
ruined our
word.
trip.
It ruined your trip.
Well, I don't even ski, so I was just
Me
going
either. I fall.
even
hang out
ski.
in the
Yeah.
lodge and
Yeah.
watch people.
By the fire.
Yeah. No,
yeah.
nice. It wasn't like this
Oh.
awesome like lodge where there's a fire. It was
That's
stupid
sad.
picnic tables. And I'm like, can we leave?
She's like, I can do this at home.
Like, I'm inside at picnic tables. I'm like, yeah, I'd rather be at my
Yeah.
house.
Yep.
Such
Save a couple
bullshit.
$100.
Mhm.
Get one of those.
Now
You could.
it's getting real in here. You guys are getting down and dirty.
Motherhood's down and dirty.
All you mothers
When
out
you
there.
try your hardest and
Yeah.
they don't appreciate it,
Yeah, that does kind of suck.
I let them have it.
Sometimes I want to beat them.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like,
When you put your
But
foot
you-
down,
I
it's
like-
do
idea,
all of
yeah.
this for you. You have no idea what I go through to put this food on your table in
Mhm.
front of you, to have money to let you go out with your friends, and you treat me like this?
Yeah,
You little bitch.
I had to steal money from my dad's bureau, like to go to the store to buy myself like gum.
Right.
Oh,
And
you
my
could-
kids like if they want to.
And now these kids have like $100 phones and
Yeah.
they still want to rape your pocket.
Can you imagine when we were kids? There were no phones like that.
Thank
Good
God.
God.
Like that. That's
Thank God.
yeah, because we don't have. we
That's
don't have
why when
regular
we're
phones.
80, we're not
No
going to. Actually, when we're 50, we're not going to be
Exactly.
like this. They're going to be like this
No,
by the time
and the
they're
other good
30.
thing is when we were that age, we don't have all the evidence on Facebook showing how stupid we were.
No,
Well,
right?
I would like to say that we were also smarter to not let those kinds of things happen.
That's true.
To not get caught or have those. Well,
I
some
was
people
grounded a
have
lot.
those pictures taken.
I was
but
working.
My brother never taught me how to be quiet.
Mm.
I was grounded more than he was.
I was the youngest of 4. My oldest being 11 years older than me. So I learned really well.
Yeah, and you
Yeah.
have one older brother,
Mhm.
which I also know, and you have.
A sister, a brother, and a
sister.
brother from another mother.
She said it faster than I did, but yes,
Yeah, you and I had the same setup.
yes. Both of our
Same
brothers went to
exact-
high school together, and we went
And
to high
friends.
school together. Yeah,
Sweet.
yeah,
Mike got away with way more than I did.
yeah. So did my Mike. Those little bitches.
I used to write his tardy slips or his absentee slips every day at in high school.
Damn.
That's
every
awesome.
single day. I would be the mom. He would still be in bed, and so wouldn't I, because my mom went to work early. My parents are divorced, and they'd call like, "Oh, was Michael coming to school today?" I'm like, "I'm sorry, Michael's very sick today," and I'd pretend I'm my mom. St. Mary's, same thing. I would pretend I was my mom. So the one time we all skipped school,
Yeah.
I was the only one who didn't get caught because they heard my voice and like, that must be Diane again. They all
By the
got
time I got to
detention.
high school,
That's awesome.
Oh my
I'm
God.
like, hell no. I've got a
by the time I got to high school, all the teachers were like, "Oh no, another Coco,"
Oh.
because they had gone through all my other siblings, and the
I
first
was-
two were like punks, and my brother used to sell joints in school, and like quit. My older sister quit, and
We used to smoke cigarettes. We used to stick cigarettes, and I would in the bathroom all the time at
All
St.
the
Mary's.
time.
yeah, get in trouble.
That's
One
what
of
I
my besties would knock down the fire alarm, like the smoke alarm
Yeah.
every day before Sister Helen. The
Sister
keys.
Mount St. Helens. Yeah.
She, we'd
That's
hear the
what I call it.
keys, and
Yeah.
she'd fish the smoke thing out of the garbage and put it back up.
And then remember, the hell was her? The sister that did. She was on the first floor, on the opposite side of the office. What the heck was her name? I don't even remember. I think she did like history. I think maybe
Sister Mary Elizabeth,
that's her.
little cute lady with the dark hair.
Yeah, the little. She's like a little peanut.
Your calendar is stuck on January.
Yeah, it is.
You need to fix that.
She liked that.
I'm that lazy.
Oh, I'm not. I'm about to come over there and do it.
I believe you.
It's just a calendar.
Hold on, let me
It's
move my
not
purse.
reality.
Hey, now I've been waiting for the time the person would offer to do that for me because I really haven't wanted to. Do you want me to get out of the way?
Wait until it's June, so at least begins with a J.
That's what that's for.
Yeah, I don't like those.
Well, it's gonna stay to January. You gonna be okay for the rest of the night?
let
if
me
it's like
tell
that?
you, I tripped over one of those once and dislocated my shoulder.
Well, you're not tripping
So if
over this time. You're stepping
I'm just
on it.
telling you.
I'll catch you.
It's a
Just
step
fall that way.
stool. You're
Grab my
supposed to step
computer.
on it.
Just fall in that direction.
How'd you,
towards the
what
equipment.
happened to your foot?
Oh, I think some of my
Yeah, there's a
problems
tack up top.
hereditary. My grandfather on my mother's side had that.
Everybody, if you're just tuning in, we're talking about
I had
Mother's
a
Day.
bunion,
Lucy and Jen are having a little bit of a
pretty good one.
conversation. I'm watching my
And
other friend
on my
Jen
big toe,
attempt to
and
change
it
my
weakened
calendar
below
because
all
that's
my
pretty.
toes, and I would repeatedly sprain
She's
them.
doing really good so far.
And
If she falls backwards, she's gonna fall right
I
on my
had
lap.
stress fractures in every one of my metatarsals.
Metatarsals.
Wow.
Yeah, it didn't happen all at once. It
Yeah.
would be like the first
Thanks,
one
dude.
would fracture, and then it would heal, and then I'd be like,
Hmm.
oh,
That's kind
so
of a cool
I thought
path
I
in that
re-sprained
forest.
it, and so then it would heal, and then
Hey, look,
it
a
would happen
prehistoric
again,
forest.
but a little further over. So that means the next metatarsal got fractured,
That's crazy.
and I didn't know that it was being fractured. I just
Yeah.
thought I was pulling
Actually,
a muscle.
yeah, that's nice, right? Not bad.
And then it healed, and
Yeah.
then the fourth one fractured.
It does. It
and
does.
it didn't heal.
Ugh.
So
This has been so
I'm
much
like,
fun
okay,
so
there's
far.
definitely something wrong.
Thanks for doing that, dude.
Other than
I still can't believe you
I'm
actually
like-
did do that. I thought you were kind
Yeah.
of kidding, and then
Oh,
you
no,
got
no.
off your chair, and I was
So
like,
I-
she's not
I'm
kidding.
looking at it going, no.
after
What?
pushing
Who
through
was
the pain for like
I
a
actually
year,
said
I'm
that
like,
the
I
other
can't
day.
keep doing
What, that you
this.
had to fix
So,
it?
Yeah, I still
I
didn't.
went to the doctor and he said, well, we can do this, that,
Oh,
and
she
the other
got some
thing.
major foot stuff done.
It's not going to fix your problem.
What?
It
She got
could,
foot surgery.
not prolong. It could like
I'm like, what?
make the process slower. Like your foot's going in this direction.
Yeah.
And what we can do things for you to make it happen slower. Or
You put
we
more
can just
crates
do
on?
surgery. And I'm like, I just
You don't
want,
even
I
understand
want this
how
foot
many
to be
more
better.
packages of that
So,
stuff I have in the workshop.
What does it take to put it
I
up?
had a fusion.
Staple gun.
They
the
don't
only way they
normally
stay
remove bunions.
I had a
'cause
couple
lot
of
of
theories,
people
but
do
they
it for
didn't work.
cosmetic
And the
reasons,
only
they
thing
have
that works,
pretty
that's why
feet.
they're puckered in certain
Um,
places. It's the staple.
And
It looks
each
kind of
individual
stupid,
problem
but
I
it's
had
still
with
it's
my
serving a
foot
good
It's
purpose.
serving its purpose,
didn't
right?
warrant
Then who cares?
surgery, but it was
So,
all
I don't
happening
need
at the same
perfection.
time, all on the same foot.
Wow.
So they took care of the bunion.
So when
they
you put-
straightened my bone and they put
Oh, yeah, she had
fusion
to
up
nest
near
stuff
the
done on her feet.
top of the bone.
Oh, that's right, you're not a
where
foot
it
person, they
doesn't
don't
affect
listen.
mobility at all.
Just keep swimming, Jess.
Just
keep
keep
my
swimming.
bones
Just keep
straight.
swimming.
And they
I
fixed the
forgot about
ligament
that.
across
We should
all the
put that-
bottom of my
I bought
toes.
about
And
384.
they
Let's
did a
put 'em
fusion
up.
on the
I mean,
fourth
not
toe,
now,
it wouldn't
but-
heal.
When we're done,
And then I had a
I'll show
tiny,
you
they
what's
call
left
it
of the
a princess
workshop.
bunion,
It'll probably cover
on
the whole
ball of my pinky toe.
But
And
won't
that
that make?
bone was protruding outward. And then
That's
back
scary.
in because it was compensating for the
It was
broken
not in a
fourth
good
toe.
way.
I think I actually felt
Yeah.
that.
It was
I've
not a
heard
good
that
touch.
before.
Yeah, and they put a screw in. They
No,
put a screw in the
no.
pinky toe basically to
won't
keep
go
it
in.
in its
Don't
correct
don't
place.
listen. She's still talking feet.
So yeah,
I'm trying
I had
not
a lot-
to.
The doctor basically said it was reconstructive surgery.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
yeah,
Like that's like you got like a whole new foot.
basically, yeah. And my main concern was like, I said, am I going to be able to jump on a trampoline after this? Not that I do that very often,
Yeah.
but I just
You
wanted
want
to
the
know.
option. You
Alright.
want the
I need
option.
to know that I had
I don't jump
complete
anymore.
mobility.
Jumping
Okay.
is not an option.
No.
Oh, see, are you kidding? Oh,
No,
if
I
had
agree. I
trampoline,
can't
would
jump.
love
Like
it.
lots of weird things happen to all over at different times.
You you wouldn't jump on a trampoline?
No,
Oh,
I'm
I'm all
not
over it.
bouncing.
Bouncy
I
houses,
love it.
all
I
that
want
stuff.
to, but
Yeah.
I'm thinking I'm
want
gonna
to, but it
kill
doesn't
myself.
Feel good.
No, I don't even care. I just go right in there.
My boobs are small enough; they don't bounce very much,
No.
so it's
Mine are
fine.
fake. It doesn't matter.
I wish mine were.
No. Don't mess with what the gods gave you.
Mm,
I
well,
didn't have a choice for
What are you
mine.
trying to-
That's a whole
I
other
hate
show.
Yeah.
voice texting.
Surgery. So.
He does
Oh,
that voice to
texting.
texting.
Yeah, forget it.
My
I'm like-
You see what my
daughter
phone does.
recently
I don't
just
understand what
went
you're
next
trying to say to me.
and
Yeah.
Caught the ball and started screaming, and she's the most dramatic human being on the planet.
Is this your daughter?
Yes. So I'm like, you know what?
I'm
like,
just
you're
curious.
Fine, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine. It was a Sunday night. I'm like, you going to bed? And she's like, my finger hurts, and she cries every day, for at least an hour a day.
Are you gonna let them listen to this? Because they're gonna hear all you saying all that mean
She
stuff
already
about them.
asked me, should you say something mean? I'm like,
Just
"Mm,
turn it
maybe."
down.
So, no, and she knows the story because she lived it. And we
That's
sent
true.
her
It's
to-
not like
so
you're
that
lying.
Night,
It's
I
not mean
iced her
if it's
for
the
a
truth.
while. I mean,
True.
I love the girl more than life itself.
Oh,
so,
of course.
Like, loved her, kissed her. I'm like, so sorry that you have a boo-boo on your finger. You're fine. So I send her to school the next day, and she comes home, and she's like, Mama, I went to the nurse 8 times today for my finger. She's like, I still can't touch anything. It really hurts. I'm like, oh, you poor thing. And I'm looking at her finger, and it's not blue. It's a little swollen. It's not bad. Like, you're fine.
Usually the blue or the purple would be another permanent. That's how I knew I broke this finger.
Yeah, so that's what I'm looking for. So the next morning, she gets in the shower, and she's like having trouble washing her hair. And I thought she was still being dramatic. And then I'm like, you know what? 8 times in the nurse's office. That's a lot for her. Like 4, that's normal. Like she goes there all the time.
Yeah.
And the nurse never called me. So I'm like, whatever. Let me just call. So I called urgent care. I'm like, how quickly? You have a wait. Because I'm like, if they had a wait, she would have went to school. So I took her to urgent care, and they did an x-ray. And it's like, her finger's broken. I'm like,
Oh.
He's like, it doesn't look that bad, though. You should go see the orthopedic. Here's your CD, whatever.
That's what I did.
So I called the orthopedic surgeon, and they're like, oh, we can take you at 1. So I dropped her off to school at this point. So I was like,
Oh, that's right. Now I'm
You're-
remembering
yeah,
the pic.
you're- yeah,
Now,
exactly.
okay,
You're
it's
still
all
going to
coming back.
school. You're still going to school. You went to the urgent care. You have a broken finger. You're going to school. So I sent her to school, and then I find out the orthopedic can take her that day. So I pick her back up from school, take her to the orthopedic doctor, and he's like, that's a pretty serious fracture. He's like, we're going to need to do surgery. We can do it
Oh,
tomorrow morning
jeez.
at 7 a.m. I'm like, oh my God. Like, I was like telling her to tough it up. So I felt like that bad mom that sends their kid. And I told him that too. I'm like, I sent her to school.
Sorry, that was loud. I was never noticed
Like,
it that loud.
she
Thought it was
went
a
to the
duck
nurses 8
quacking.
times. I'm like, I didn't believe her. He's like, no, you can't tell. He's like, you never would have known that without an x-ray or whatever. So she had surgery the next day, which is a whole other story of like how many times have you seen your kid go under anesthesia? Because that's
Oh my god,
brutal.
Oh, see, yeah, I don't know
that
what that's like.
actually made me throw
Yeah,
up.
she has 2 pins in her finger, and she's casted for 4 weeks.
Oh,
And 1
jeez.
week later, I have my surgery for another separate issue. So we're both like Wonder Twin powers.
Oh.
Bad hairdos, like, hey, baby. But,
Oh.
yeah, she's doing
Wonder
great.
Twin powers. That's
But
great.
no
Good,
basketball.
Yeah.
But anesthesia, worst thing ever, right?
Oh
You
my
ever
god.
Have you ever seen it?
Yeah, both boys.
Yeah.
And it was when they were infants, like
Yep.
like
Oh my God, that one.
between 1 year and 2 years, and it's so difficult. I mean, first it's difficult because they're scared and
Yeah.
they're going in and everything, but then once they have the anesthesia and
You see it.
you see their bodies go lifeless almost, and I actually the first time
Mm.
I threw up with Ethan, I just was like, it seemed so real, like his little body was so lifeless and his eyes were
Yeah.
still open, and it
They don't
was
warn you.
scary. They don't warn you.
at all.
So I mean,
See, now it's
It's-
funny
it's
you're talking
difficult.
about this perspective. when I had a couple of my surgeries, I never thought of it from my mom's perspective.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it doesn't
And,
matter how
you know,
old you are.
it's
Your mother.
horrific.
And when
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's so scary. And
No.
when
okay.
you're a mom, I have to
Don't
say,
have to yell.
you.
Yeah.
I used to have these thoughts, and I used to think I was like sadistic for these thoughts, but mothers put their mentality in like the worst case scenario thing
Every time.
Oh,
and so
yeah,
you
you
think
do.
like if your kid gets like mauled by a tiger, I mean not a tiger, a bear, like when you're out camping, or a car accident or something,
Or
and
they
you
have
don't want to
fever and
think
they're
that
dying.
you don't want to
Yeah.
think that about your children. You don't want to put that energy out there.
But
It's
the
a
first thought.
mechanism for us to be prepared if it does happen, so that we can be strong in those
I never
moments.
thought of it as a mechanism, so that's a really interesting.
It
concept.
really is. Like we think these worst case scenarios
Always.
so that if by chance it should happen,
What am I going to do? How am I going to deal
we
with
don't panic right away.
and
We don't panic until we're alone in a bathroom
And you
in the
lose your
hospital
shit.
somewhere
Yeah.
and you lose your shit.
yeah.
But
it? Or you don't sleep.
in the time
At
that
all.
it happens, you have to keep that strength about you for your child, you know. And I used to think I was
funny.
such a horrible mother for having these terrible thoughts, and I was told by my mother, some older aunts, it's like
See, no one ever said that to me as a mechanism, so
Yeah.
I was like, does
Every
anybody
mother
else go to
has
this
these
crazy dark
thoughts.
place? Because
my,
I do
my
immediately.
mom thought about that stuff too.
I'm sure she
did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
sure
sure
she
my
did.
mom
But-
did.
Oh, we don't all talk about it because we don't want people to think like we.
Well,
think
no,
these
because
horrible
you
things
just you
about our
don't
children.
want anything to happen to your kids. So
Right,
you think
and
of like
we don't want to
oh
put
my
that
god.
energy out there either, because then like
'Cause it
if
does
you think about
happen.
it, then it might happen, but it's actually a mechanism to help you prepare if it does
And
happen.
if you're a control freak like myself, you think that you're the one who's going to prevent from most bad things happening.
And if
So I
something bad
travel for
happens,
work.
you're responsible for
Yes.
it because you weren't there to stop it from happening. But
Yeah.
ladies, don't beat yourself up about it.
I
Life
can't-
happens. Shit
I can't
happens.
stop
I mean,
myself.
When I got into a car accident once, well, I mean, I've had more than one, but my mother always said the call you don't want to get is, this is
Yeah.
so and so, your child's in it. And I got into an accident, I was fine. But my friend Pam's mother had called and said, Mrs. Maggio, April was in a car accident. She's fine. It's just, she's a little shaken up. Nobody was hurt. Cracked
Yeah.
up knuckles,
Yeah.
scratched knuckles. Like nothing. It wasn't a catastrophic accident, but again, like I said, listening to you guys talk now, it's one thing hearing your mom talk if you talk with your own parent, but hearing my colleagues talk about their kids, I think about that, and it's like you get a new perspective. Being the kid, saying, I can't imagine what she was probably thinking. When she got a phone call, or if I came home and said something happened to the car, what do you? First thing she would ask, "Are you okay? Is everybody anybody
I'm sure
hurt?"
They must have gone to a dark place.
And I don't think it's like you said. It's not like you're really trying to, but I can see what you're saying, trying to prepare.
You have to though,
Just in
because I
case.
think the worst phone
Because-
call that I ever got was a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
We never fight. Like we never fought in front of our kid. We went outside and fought quietly,
Yeah.
just because I grew up, and my husband
Well,
and I both
you
had
kids
fighting when we
shouldn't
grew up. Yeah.
See that
Yeah.
anyway. you know
So
what I mean?
even once in a while now we fight, and I, he knows. I'm like, dude, everyone fights, and he's older now and everything. Well,
Yeah.
we never really yelled at him. So I yelled at him one night because I was pissed because he was lying about his grades, lying incessantly, and just, he was being a 17-year-old, and he went to school the next day. That's insane.
I didn't know that.
That's
Yeah.
I never told you this.
Mm-mm.
Oh yeah,
No.
it was I'll try not to swear. It was the worst phone call I have ever received in my entire life.
I bet.
My husband, I work in Haverhill. My husband works all over the place. My husband got there in 10 minutes. I don't know how he did it. Oh yeah, we had to take him. It was April. It was
Oh,
a
my God.
And
mess.
was he
And-
just
And you know him.
saying it to
Yeah.
say it, or was he like really feeling that way?
But I looked at him and he's sitting there like looking at me because she's known him
I've known him forever.
pretty much his entire life.
Yeah.
And we never yell at him because
No.
of the way we grew up.
I don't think
Right.
I never ever heard you. Raise
And
your
he's
voice
pretty-
to
I
me.
yell
No, and
from
he's-
the minute I open my eyes in the morning. to the minute I go to
Well,
bed.
he's an only child, so he's pretty chill. If I had two, I'm sure I would too.
Your son would
but-
hate me.
No, I used to send him to Auntie's boot camp. My sister would. Yep.
Your sister,
like,
yeah.
He's super chill. But anyway, just bordering on you saying that you need to prepare for phone calls like that. You
Yeah.
really do, because I wasn't prepared and I freaked out the
Yeah.
entire ride. The 10-minute ride from Haverhill to Derry felt like it took an hour.
It's probably a blur.
I
too.
bet.
was-
I bet.
It was
And
horrible.
let's not
and-
even
That's so
talk about
hard.
driving
Yeah.
when you're in that kind of state
No,
of mind.
no,
'cause
and-
that's
and
the
insane,
worst
too.
part is-
No,
You
yeah.
don't drive. You're like someone else is driving. For
Yeah,
you at that
totally.
Point, 'cause
well, the thing is, and these kids have
That's
gotten
pretty.
they've gotten like it's become common.
No,
We're mothers.
Doesn't matter.
It's
Yeah, it
for
doesn't
emergency
matter.
purposes.
hello.
Oh wait, till, I don't.
It's
Ladies and gentlemen, Jen's taking a phone call. We're going to take a short break. No, just kidding.
The child is checking in with their mom because their mom's been
Oh.
gone.
So, yeah.
She's having some her time.
Candy?
Oh,
I think it's her husband.
Oh.
But no, I didn't know that part.
And you've known him his entire life. He's never.
Probably like.
He's
the next
just-
hour.
He's funny.
He's
Dude,
but he's so
funny.
chill. But here's the thing. So that's the other thing. Everything okay?
I'm sorry. The microphones pick up everything, by the
Edit that out.
way. I'll try.
Edit it out.
She was kidding. You have to leave? You don't have to leave, do you?
No, I don't.
Good.
damn right you don't.
I don't.
Okay. Everything all right, though?
Yeah, it's another show.
I need to picture
Yeah,
that
so I'm gonna
Mickey
have to stop
Mouse.
penciling you in the rest of May. We got
That's
May 20
that's gonna be
Therapy
like
sessions.
that's gonna so be
we
like
could call it.
the
we
thing.
could do
That's
like,
another show.
Yeah, that's another show. That's
But I'm
love that.
saying, like, we can have shows like that and
Yeah.
just have, because like I said, the dynamic's really good.
That's the title of your show. That's another show.
Exactly.
That's another show. On this week's That's Another Show
Yeah.
here on the Lilypad Podcast Show.
No,
Except
they
it's
have different
Mother's Day, but
episodes.
It's also called That's Another Show.
Will you take a picture of that Mickey
Yeah.
minus the cup?
Really? You don't like
It's
that?
only called That's
No.
Another Show when you're with this
Yes.
dynamic
Yeah.
because we have so
No,
many
is that like a Nightmare Before Christmas one?
life
isn't like it
experience
is. It's
things
Mickey
to talk
Skellington.
about.
I need to get one of those for my sister. That's her favorite movie. That's why I want a picture of it.
What movie?
Nightmare Before
Before
Christmas.
Christmas.
I love Nightmare
Yeah.
Before
Oh my
Christmas.
god, I know you love that, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I've never seen it.
Get out. I'm just kidding.
I also
See Wedding
just
Crashers.
saw Top
Baba
Gun
Ganoush.
Top
for the
Gun
first time.
for the first
For
time?
the
Wait,
first
what?
time.
Are you
Top
kidding?
Gun for the first time the other day.
Oh my
I haven't
God.
seen
I
Top
was
Gun.
working out.
Are you kidding me?
No.
You've
wait,
never
shh.
seen?
Is Mama home?
Is that
Ma
Ma
Duke.
Dukes?
Ma Duke's getting her butt down here.
Ma Dukes. I love
My
her.
Dukes is gonna come down and talk to us.
You need to come down. We've been waiting for you.
What was I doing? Oh, I need to look at that Mickey thing.
Yeah, I'm not 14 or anything.
I love Ma Dukes.
Oops.
So, April, what are you doing for your mom for Mother's Day?
Fucking nothing. I'm just kidding.
You, you
Totally
are
forgot the microphone was
so
on. I'm
full of
kidding.
it.
Of course, I'm gonna take care
None
of
of
it.
us believe a word you're saying.
I am. I dropped the F bomb. Oh man, shit.
Potty mouth.
No, we're going to go out on Saturday because a lot of the times Mother's Day everywhere is busy, so
Oh,
we'll
yeah.
go out. And so this Saturday we're going to go to Newburyport and have coffee. We're going to sit along the river, so then we'll go to Plum Island.
Where do you go for coffee?
Well, we're probably going to just pick something up on the way, but I know that there are cafes in Newburyport, so we may go up there and just
I
get
think
a
it's like a Plum Island coffee company has unbelievable coffee. So try that.
Plum
right
Island.
up
Is it like right when you
like
get?
right by Black Cow.
I love
Okay,
that
right when you-
place. Black
Okay.
Cow.
Because we're going to do that, and then I'm taking her out for lunch.
Nice.
I told her, whatever she wants. I'm gonna. She knows. I told her she had to come down.
Is that like your bag of tricks? What are you doing, kid?
I don't mess around. Or you guys could just share the microphone.
It's fine. I can hand it off.
Yeah, I could share it. Yeah, I'll put it back after. So. Well,
You gonna share your space?
I will.
You're,
See if she
you're a
comes
good
down.
grasshopper.
I'm
You-
so comfortable here, though.
It's like, this is my spot.
We'll have
It's-
to go home to bed soon, though.
Yeah, I'll make her come down and then we'll wrap it up.
Apparently I'm
Nice
still
way to
putting
end the
kids to
show.
bed tonight.
What?
I said
Absolutely.
apparently I'm still putting kids to bed tonight.
Really?
big smile.
What time do your kid? It is a big smile. It's not the normal smile that you have, though.
It's not a real one.
Because Dad
Oh,
can't
I think-
handle it.
We have company.
Apparently the Celtics are on.
Oh.
Hello.
Thought basketball was over.
Didn't the door
personally.
open?
I don't
No.
follow
Am I hearing things?
Still got a ways
I must
to
be
go.
hearing.
Whatever.
I don't know.
Hockey,
She'll come
well,
down.
Hockey's over for
Oh, she'll come down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I know. I'm super glad you guys came tonight.
So
There it
yeah,
is.
actually,
There
let's
it
have
is.
a tiny
Hello.
conversation about being a mom / wife and sports, and when there's like big sports events and games and stuff going on. Like how
Hi.
Hello, Ma Dukes.
My husband loves
Ma
every
Dukes
sport.
is here, everybody.
Dukes.
So, those of you just tuning in,
Okay.
my mother just showed up. Mom, you're a little late.
right, because she's little.
I told her 7.
Hello.
She's a
Did
very,
she just say
she's a
smells
very
like-
little
I-
woman.
I love her. I don't care what she says. I have been rubbing off on her.
Yes, clearly.
I have been rubbing off on her.
Yes.
It was like a whorehouse.
That was
Mom, I can't believe
fantastic.
you just said that. I love
I
it.
know. I can't smell anything. I have no sense of
It
smell.
smells nice.
You can
Well,
you
that's
can
good.
smell
It's a
that?
nice whorehouse.
So that it's a
Yeah, that's the thing. But you said it smelled like a whorehouse. That's
She
what
said a
I
nice
said.
one.
Did not say that.
Well, I
heard it.
do
The
have
microphones don't lie,
amber
Ma.
My
patchouli
perfume's
on.
great.
What do you have?
I don't know what it's called.
Maybe
I'm
it's
not a whore. I'm
I think
free.
you can smell
I'm
mine.
joking. I was joking.
That was
I
good.
just caught that. That was nice.
Yeah, that was good. She's like, I'm not a whore. I'm free.
Starving.
Oh, dig
Ma, have some
in.
pizza.
Dig in.
You can eat cold pizza?
Oh, I can't.
Yeah,
I can't.
Oh, heck yeah.
It has to be.
Start a fire.
easy.
Yeah.
No, those
Oh,
are
no,
all
they're
fake.
not
Yeah.
real? Okay. I'm
No.
afraid of fire.
Well, yeah, especially when it's.
Is that the cat?
Wait.
Is that the cat?
Yeah, I can.
No, I think that was Lucy. Was that you singing?
No.
I was singing House
you
of
heard me,
Fire.
No, the cat. I heard the cat.
You know, the last time I did a show, my friend was sitting in front of me and we could hear the cat. I'm like, oh, Mom must be home because
Yeah.
she's like,
My cat is awesome too. Makes lots of
That's
noise.
awesome
Love it.
pizza.
yeah, it's good.
That's
There's
good.
pepperoni
Pizza.
underneath if you want some. So, Mom, we're talking about Mother's Day.
Mm-hmm.
And you have anything now? We talked about this yesterday. I told you what to say. Do you have anything to say about your daughter? And there's a microphone right there. Be nice.
It's Mother's Day, not
I
Daughter's
can't
Day.
bring this close.
I have to
Yes,
say
you can.
she's awesome.
Aw.
My
Aww.
daughter's awesome.
She is awesome.
Yeah, she is.
I can't give you all $20. Just my mom.
Eh,
I'm sorry.
That's all right. We'll still
Taking
keep
me
you.
out to lunch
Our-
then.
Yeah. I gotta pay you guys to be nice.
So we were talking about all the things that scared us. You know, we
Is
just
motherhood?
no, just like that terrifying fear that something bad's going to happen to your kid, or every single time your
Oh,
kid
yeah.
gets sick, you think it's a terrifying, devastating illness. Were you crazy like that too?
Of
Or you
course.
No, now let me
So
let me
we're
ask you.
normal.
Chapstick.
Did you, even when everything was a-okay and fine, did you ever have those thoughts, like where it would make you think, why would I think of these kinds of thoughts about
Like
my
the worst
children?
case scenario.
Like worst case scenario things. Did you ever have those thoughts?
Yeah, because it's a normal thing for mothers. It's basically a mother. I'm
Yeah.
not sure fathers did too, but I used to be very nervous when things were going really smoothly.
Mm.
Because the minute something, not the minute something was smoothly and going well, something would,
You're waiting for something to pop out of nowhere.
break, yeah.
Right.
And I had it a lot because I had a lot going on in my life with my children and my husband. I
Yeah.
had to worry about him.
Right.
And,
So as a toss-up, she said, "He's either my kids or my husband," and usually it was Dad. So I'm kidding. I love you. I love you.
but I mean, being a mother,
What's love got
being
to
a
do with it?
somebody, you
I
worry
know. Right?
24/7,
Yeah, she did everything.
every day of your life.
No matter how old they get.
And
Yeah,
now,
never
even,
really
and you worry
Lucy, I got
now.
that jab. Thanks.
What's that?
No, she said no matter how old they are. I'm like, yep.
Well, my brother's 50 and my mother's still like,
You never stop being a mom.
right.
That's what it comes down to.
My problem is my kids try to tell me to stop it, and you can't stop
No,
it.
yeah.
Don't.
It's
I,
embedded
you're
in
not
you.
supposed to go
You're a
down this
mom
direction.
right from the core. And if you're not like that, there's very few women who are not like that. I don't know any of them.
Yeah.
All my friends are like you guys. You wake up thinking about your kids, go to bed thinking about your family. Your husband,
Yep.
of course, is automatic.
Yeah, he's all right. It's the kid. It's all about the kid. It's the kids.
Yeah, she knows the saying. You
Yep.
worry about you worry about your son, but you pray about your daughter because you figure they're apt to get into more little serious situations that you
Mhm.
probably couldn't get out of.
Right.
A
Yeah.
guy
Yep.
can probably get out of a situation. But
Yeah.
nowadays, it's both. You pray about both of them because there's so much crap going on in the world.
Yep.
Yeah,
In the 70s, we had
I love her.
too.
what the heck was that great big party down in
Woodstock.
Oh,
We
yeah.
had that, and I was having my kids were little. I'm thinking, oh my god, they're all going to get hooked on drugs.
There's the
Everybody-
cat.
Listen to the cat.
You worry
Can
about the influence.
can the cat come down?
Because when I was a young mother,
Oh.
a young girl, before I became a mother, I went
She's
out
like,
with my friend,
"Mom,
this
Mom,
friend of mine.
Mama,
We thought we
Mama.
were the cats meow because we dressed up. We had
Lois.
we had nice clothes because we could afford it. Well, what we could afford.
Right.
Did you?
And they all smoked. That was the worst thing.
Oh,
And so I decided, I'm not going to smoke. I don't want to smoke. And my girlfriend said, no, come on, try it.
Mhm.
I really want to try it. And we were at this nice restaurant in Methuen called the Red Tavern. You ever hear of the
Yeah.
Red
Oh
Tavern?
yeah.
oh yeah.
Yeah, so
Been there.
we were sitting there, as cool as we can, looking very gorgeous. And they're lighting up and they're smoking like sexy. So I says, okay, I'll try it. And so I inhaled it. And all my mascara,
Oh,
I had to walk across the whole restaurant into the ladies' room to get myself composed because I was coughing.
Yep. Yep.
And why I say this is because I was tempted and I took it.
Peer pressure.
Yeah, and now I'm thinking I've got 2 kids. Peer pressure, you know.
Yeah.
Peer. What is it? Peer.
Peer
Mhm.
pressure.
Peer
Yeah,
pressure.
yeah.
Yeah.
And are you tempted to try it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? If I did
Absolutely.
it, would my
It's
kids
incredible.
do it?
Peer pressure is
And,
such.
and your kids
So
did. I
incredible.
smoked cigarettes for a
and
very long time.
and it's gonna happen
Unfortunately.
That's why I
throughout
smoked when I was younger.
the ages.
And of
And
course.
I think as moms, it's just it's important for us to let our children know that they can come to us and talk to us about that
Yeah.
kind of thing.
The most important part of my home across the street, we had a nice little ranch there. There was a kitchen, had a counter. And on the other side was the dining room, right?
Yeah.
That counter was the most important part of my house because that's where my kids sat and talked to me.
Mhm.
That's where my husband sat and talked to me while I was doing dishes, while I was cooking, while I was baking, while I was doing. We sat there and talked, right?
You know what?
But now I'm in a different position.
Oh.
I am a mother,
Oh, with a really angry cat.
worrying about
Yes.
Right.
their partners. Are they going to be good to my kids? Are they going
Right.
to take care of them like I did?
Well, don't worry. I'm not. That's never going to happen for me. So.
And the thing is,
I'll take care of you.
Never say never.
Right. Now
Oh,
I have
thank
a
you.
I have a
It's okay.
23-year-old son. So this is very interesting to me because when you have a daughter, you're really worried about the kinds of boys she's going to bring home or
Oh.
but it's really the same thing for your kid too, especially because
oh yeah,
You weren't going to
girls
bring him a
there's
nice
a
girl.
lot more girls at a
Yeah,
younger
I told
age
him if
that
he
are
puts me on Teen Mom,
promiscuous
I'll
and
kick his
into
butt.
certain things.
I
And you-
literally
and
said that to him.
you don't know, like I'm in the same position as if I had a daughter. I really worry for my son's welfare. Is he using protection? And is she asking him to or telling him to? Is she being just as responsible? So it's like, how
Yeah, I buy
is
it
she
for
too
Jada.
young
Not
for
really.
him? Is another question
No,
because
cat would've
sometimes
came
he'll
down.
bring girls home that look very young, and I look
She's probably
younger
trying
than
to beat her way
40.
through
So
the
like,
door, though.
are these girls too young?
oh, sure.
How do I ask how old she is? Like, is she gonna respect him? Like, my boys are they're very chivalrous. They're very gentlemanlike.
See, that's nice.
That cat's
Because
mad.
that's there's not enough
You
of
don't
that.
see it that often.
No.
That's all how they're
they
raised.
have a lot of respect for women. Being their mom, nagging them to do things around the house is a different story. But when it comes to respect, they hold the door for me. They help me when I really need it.
Yeah.
But they do. They have a lot of respect for women and people in general. So I worry, like, is he going to meet either boy? Are they going to meet someone that's going to totally taint that or take advantage of that?
Hopefully
What
not.
told me is you brought them up from little pups,
Yeah,
Cat's
And,
mad.
little cubs.
pups, and you read into them your feelings, your beliefs, the way you want to be treated, the way you want them to be treated.
Damn cat.
And it's up to them to look for that quality. They may not even know they're looking for it,
Yeah.
but they're going to discover that they want the same thing. I mean, they want to be mommy's little girl, mommy's little, daddy's little girl. You have no control on it. They have the control. Your son has the control. My son had the control.
Right.
She has a control on who she wants to be with. She better be with somebody who's stronger than her, because she's a
bitch.
She's very strong.
I'm a bitch.
I love
No,
pitbulls.
You can say it.
You know,
I'm
I
a
have
bitch.
to-
Okay.
Yeah, but I have
No, I'm
to
kidding.
say this. My son is a quiet person, doesn't say much, but he's a fighter.
Yeah.
She's more outgoing, and and I want her to be that way. I want her to be feisty and take care of herself. I was brought up. I was the oldest one in the family. I had 2 younger brothers. I always babysat them, and they're still my baby brothers in their age as they are now. But I was always protected. I never had to worry about a ride. I never got my driver's license till just before I got married, and I kind of, when things go, well, she'll tell you when something's happening. Well, you don't really. I sit back. I don't fight like I probably should. Well.
She,
like,
no, but
when do
you
you
fight
step
in a
in?
very different way, and
Yeah.
we talked about this the other day.
I have a different way of fighting, but she'll spit out something she doesn't like for her car. She'll fight for her car. She knows what she's doing. And
I
then
stayed on the phone for 8 hours with Enterprise in California till I got my way because they
She
messed up
won't
part of
put
my
up with
vacation
anything.
and I wasn't having it.
I have a little more tolerance and patience, I guess.
But
and I
she's
just-
been through hell with a lot of issues with
Mhm.
family and health and things. Like, you take care of a lot of people. That is a huge, not a lot of women or people in general can do what you do.
It's different. I don't speak up for myself enough. At my
And
age,
that
I
and
should
that
have
on
been-
that side maybe, but on another note though, you always fought for your family by being a good support and not leaving and doing. You always did what needed to be done to keep the family going.
And a
And
lot
Dad
of that,
did too. Dad did too, but Dad was always sick, so he could only do so much. You took a lot of the weight on your shoulders. You have to give yourself credit for that. I don't think you give yourself enough credit for.
No mother does.
No,
Right.
and like you said it too.
Yeah.
Like you said, sometimes mothers that you don't really feel, and it's like you guys do so much more than.
I'm not allowed to have weak moments. Like I'm just not allowed to.
That's
like,
bullshit.
Or I don't allow myself to.
That's
It's
what
more
it is
like,
right there.
What you say?
first I said it was bullshit, and then you said that you don't allow yourself, and I said that's what it is right there.
Allow
Yeah.
You
myself
need to allow yourself.
Yeah, and you should.
I have another question for your mom though.
Okay. Ow, my leg hurts.
How do you handle your children's
Step on your foot, you forget about your leg.
Like if someone breaks their heart or they were in love and it just didn't work out and it was truly devastating to them. How do you handle that?
You handle it with your own heart. You're there for them.
Because it hurts you too to
It
see
hurts
them
you more than
hurting.
It hurts them. And you sit there
Jen.
and you listen.
Is it-
And you
Jen,
listen. And if they ask you a question, you do the best to answer from here. Not from here as much.
Right.
Yes, you need that. But you have to be there. You have to listen to your kids.
Be closer. to
And
the
listen with your
microphone.
heart and
thank you.
not
Oh, is it?
just your
Oh, it's stuck
mentality.
on
You listen
something.
with your
I
heart.
didn't realize it was stuck.
I believe that you can't come. You can't come on strong.
You have to wait for them to come to you because they're already
Yeah.
hurting enough.
Yeah, you have to let them come
But
to you.
sometimes they don't, and you know they need someone, but they won't come to
Yeah.
I
you.
think
So
I
you
bet
have
you
to
it's
You
a
go
have
lot
to
of
just-
it's fear.
Monitor
Maybe
Yeah.
they're
them
nervous.
time.
Yep.
You just have to. Eventually,
Yep.
they will. If they don't worry about it. I mean, they'll wake up and they'll see the
And you know
light.
what?
Mhm.
When I was younger, we didn't always have the best relationship. I didn't want
Oh my
anything to do
God.
with my being at home ever.
Are you
I just.
mean to her? Because she's pretty amazing.
Ma Dukes is the best.
What did we say?
She says to me one day,
Ma. I told you what to say. Don't say it.
"Get your
He
script."
likes like meet the
She
meet the
didn't wanna
Fockers.
be home.
Muskrat.
She didn't want to leave. And I said, "Bad, go. If you want to leave that bad,
Yeah.
if you can make it on your own."
But I mean, like she said, you wake up. I got a little older. You know, we have our puberty and early teenage years in high school.
Nastiness.
do not
it
like
is-
each other.
It's nasty. It was nasty. I always knew that, like, if I had to go to my mother, I could go to my mom. I always knew, deep down inside, I knew if the poop really hit that fan, I was going to my parents, regardless of what the outcome was. But I did hide a lot. I was mischievous. I did get grounded a lot. But
He said poop.
I said poop. I didn't drop the S-bomb. I'm
I
trying,
know,
trying
but
to
it was
be as
so
good as I
funny.
can.
I'm so proud of you. You didn't do that.
You know, because my mother's in the room. Kind of have to I have to reel it in a little bit.
A little bit.
No, but I
You
was
know,
that's
you-
kind of how.
And you want to nurture your child in those moments, but
Yeah.
it's sort of like you have to let them go through it at the same time because
That's
there's
a really
lessons
big
to be
question.
learned.
Yeah.
We
you know?
we have a very good relationship now. The older I got, the closer we got.
Same,
like
yeah.
we're like best friends. Like
We really were. I always said to her, and everybody says this on occasion, I'm sure. I don't like you, but I'll always love you.
Sometimes
You know,
she
I don't like
doesn't
what
like
you're
me.
saying, but I understand what you're trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we both know the things about each other that we're not fond of, and we will address it, but at the end of the day, it's nothing.
It's to be expected. You're
You know.
separate individual.
But I mean,
individual beings.
You
so.
you kind of go through that phase. You know, you go through the young kid, you go to the teenager, but eventually, you know, I know what kind of mothers you guys are. You know what kind of mother they're gonna come.
Just
You'll have good
always make
relationship.
sure
It's just
you instill in them that you love them no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
You
yeah.
I always say, I love you. I love you more.
Mm-hmm.
No matter where I go, when I go,
Mm-hmm.
I go to bed, I say, good night, I love you. She says, I love you more. I said, no, I love you more.
Like the Waltons.
Because
always.
you know what it is, too? I mean, it's so important to make sure that they have a solid ground and that you have their back.
The best part is too is when they're in a room full of their peers, their friends, and they say "I love you" on the phone to you. That's like the best part too,
Isn't that
because
great?
they don't care. They're
Right,
around their
yeah.
teenagers around their friends, and they're like, "Yeah, whatever. I don't care. I love my mom." I think
You
that's
know,
pretty
to
cool.
this day,
I love that.
to this day, I still call her at midnight on New Year's Eve. I have my phone and the
Me
phone
too.
number
I
dialed,
love
and as
to.
soon as midnight hits, I hit send just to say Happy New Year to her. We talk on the phone maybe 5 seconds.
I'm usually with my
I
mom.
try to be my brother every year, but he usually calls on one phone and I call on another, so it
I
works
do
out
have
pretty
to
good.
interject something.
What do you got, my dukes?
It's my own.
What?
I am
She-
a very strong
She gonna flirt.
believer
I was
and
thinking
faithful person.
Take a flight.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that
Don't cry, Mama.
You make me
Could-
cry. I'm like one of those people. If you cry, you make me cry too.
See, I
I believe in Jesus Christ. He's my Savior. And I will get to heaven because I believe in Him. But I'm going to tell you something. If I did not have my faith, I could not get through any of the things I've gotten through.
Mm-hmm.
Because
and it's a good
I
it's a
let
good
it go.
point.
I just say, you handle the situation. Give me the right words and the strength to find a way to get through to my family or to myself even. And I honestly feel, I know He has answered every single prayer in my heart. Every single one.
I think having faith is a lot to do with
It's
it. Like
my
you
faith.
said,
Mhm.
you
Get
know,
me through everything. Whether it's Catholic or Protestant or whatever.
It doesn't matter. It's fake.
it doesn't matter.
Right,
It's faith.
right.
Faith, yeah.
Faith is
Having a strong faith is important. I think.
Yeah.
You know, we as mothers, we pray for our children.
chapstick.
So
Every night.
who are we praying to? It doesn't matter if you're praying to Jesus or, Luna or some other god or goddess in any pantheon.
got backup.
If you have a strong faith and
Okay,
and
I
with
have
you,
backup.
I've
have one
prayed
here.
for my boys and really truly deeply in my faith and I really feel like the universe heard me and protected my children in certain situations when they were not near me and I couldn't physically be there.
And I'm always, and another thing is I'm always grateful. I always say thank you. I never say,
Every night.
I bet you I have another one
You
too.
always say
I
thank
believe
you.
you.
You never forget it because He's there for you.
It's too loud.
Whatever.
Right.
They're there for you. They've got your back.
Wow.
And that's how I feel. You know.
Right.
And I've been blessed with this kid, my son.
I did pay her to say that one.
It's a lovely,
She's a
lovely
blessing,
daughter.
all right, huh?
A beautiful daughter-in-law.
I think they're blessed to have you
Yes,
too.
Like $40 so far.
Really.
No,
I
like
really
50,
do.
I think.
I think you're a
actually.
wonderful woman, and
And I
thank
do
you for
too.
raising
Me
April
too.
because she's pretty
Oh, yeah,
bad
this is my
ass.
second computer, and I've heard about you my whole life, though. Since my brother.
Yes,
I do
yeah.
get naughty once in a while.
Which is great. We need to be a little randy sometimes.
I love that term,
Did
Randy.
I ever tell you about my experience with my neighbor across the street?
What?
Oh.
I don't even think I know about
Oh,
you.
please.
Oh,
Let me put those tap
that.
on the water. Hold on.
No, it's not what you think.
No.
Wait, you talking about the day I had to kind of make sure you were in bed and
But you carried me home?
practically. She when I went next door last year. This is the funniest thing, right? So I was down here, just playing around, whatever, and she's like, "Oh, hey, Tina next door, had invited us over for meat pie." So I thought they were just ordering out, getting some meat pies, whatever. We walk into the house, they're making meat pies, cookie sheets, plural, cookie sheets of meat pie. There was like 6 of them, and they made all the stuffing, and then some had like this in it, some had this in it, some had a little of the spice. You like the hot one, and really,
those words don't go together.
No, like just the what do you
No.
crushed
red pepper?
No, I
Thank
like
you,
those,
crushed red
but
pepper.
meat pie, those words don't go
Oh,
together.
oh.
Oh,
So
yes,
no,
they
so
do.
we go over there and it was absolutely delicious.
Is it sort of like
But
a calzone
she
anyway,
had-
like the same thing?
It's kind of basically
All right. Yeah.
Never forget your husband.
what?
Never forget your partner. They're
What's
very
the-
important.
Never
Yeah.
forget him.
We
I
just-
gotta
we just
live with
take a
that
turn.
guy.
What I'm
It
saying
did
is,
take
you
a
know,
turn. This was the turn I was waiting for. if
He
you
makes
came
me
here.
crazy.
yeah, these
Oh,
children, your
let's go
children
here.
are your children, and my husband always knew. I always put them first, but he was not far behind, and he understood it when they were little. When they
Yeah.
got bigger, my husband was my husband. He was my love of my life, and I never wanted him to feel left out.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
So
Mel.
he's important. You have to remember that, and try not to buck it. And
I'm
I
going to
knew someone
interject
was
for a
gonna say
second.
something like that tonight.
I want to interject for a second.
That's the hardest thing. That's probably the hardest thing for me. I can do everything else, but that one, that's the whole like not allowing myself to be weak.
Right.
I'm not good at that. I'm not
I-
good at it. I'm married. I've been married for what, 18 years.
Well,
I'm not
consider
good at
this-
it.
Congratulations.
Consider
Yeah,
this.
I mean,
You're
it's not easy though. Like anybody.
I just
this
want to
could be
say
your,
that
this could be her
Yeah, I'm going on
downtime
13.
once in
Right,
a while. Come
right.
here and have downtime.
yeah,
Just
absolutely.
downtime.
Even if we don't record, we can just have downtime.
Like just like yeah, anytime. Like we just come out and,
And
hang out. Like,
just
you
to
know, you
add
know
to
you can.
Cookie, I'm not with my husband any longer.
Right.
And he'll tell me I'm full of horse shit, but even though our relationship didn't
go.
work out,
Hmm.
there were bad
Right.
things happening in front of my children,
yeah, well, that's
and
that's
and
not good.
that shouldn't ever happen.
That's
No.
when you have to decide to put yourself first.
Myself and my children
Your
first.
children.
Exactly.
If things are coming that way,
Absolutely.
you have to make a decision.
So I as a mother for my children and myself, I made the most difficult decision because he was probably the greatest love so far I've ever had in my life. And he pampered me and he treated me like a goddess and I was better than gold. But things in the relationship personally didn't work out. And it was very difficult.
Well, you know,
He'll say I'm full of shit, but I will say, yes, my children come first, and I still hold him in high enough regard because he is my son's father, and I would never want anything to happen to him.
never.
I never degrade him, and I never deduce him.
I remember
He's-
you telling me that growing up. Try to always have a level of respect,
and I
especially if
I
it's
never
deserved.
talk badly about him, especially in front of his son. I am honest with my son about his father's and my relationship because of the things that he has heard and seen. I think he was due the explanations, and I did it in a very nurturing way so that he understood the good and the bad. I had to put an end to the relationship because I didn't want my son to grow up thinking that was okay behavior. But even though things went sour with the husband, I still, like you said, he may not be second in my life, but he's still a very important part because of the time we
yeah.
shared together and the child we share together.
Well, that's the thing. You're always going to be parents together, regardless of your relationship. You still that is
Exactly.
always
And-
going to still be.
And I think people need to learn how to, even if they have huge differences, I think they, in divorced situations or separate, they need to learn how to co-parent
But it's also
in a positive way.
It is also, and granted, I know I'm not a parent, but I think it's also every person's story is different. So
Absolutely.
sometimes a biological parent is not part of their lives for whatever the reason.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes that's just what's meant to be.
Right.
Don't think that my husband and I didn't have our ups and downs.
Oh, of course, everybody does.
I mean,
Everybody
I tried to hide
does.
his medicine.
Yeah.
And she really did.
And I want to tell you, I struggled. I struggled
She's
for
like,
a lot
really, I
of
didn't know.
years
Sent you a picture or
because
something.
in my mind, marriage was this certain thing. You stayed
That
together
just
no matter
fall.
what. But then when things were
That's
really,
funny.
really bad, and I knew they were wrong,
They do. Yeah.
as
I
as
asked
a woman and as a mother, I had to make that decision. And I want moms everywhere to know that
What's your new nickname?
staying in
I hope
such
I'm
a situation just for children is more harmful to the child than you realize.
That's when you definitely put the kids first.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And
Oh yeah.
and maybe maybe look for some support groups if you need something.
Oh yeah,
like
there's
that,
a ton of support
there's
groups
tons
out
of
there.
support
Sometimes
groups around.
sometimes
and-
it's good to go to people you don't
Yeah.
know versus people you do, because they're an entirely different. They could offer a entirely different perspective that may be,
absolutely,
and they're not biased because they don't know you or your friends.
Or
And-
your spouse.
and
Yeah, sometimes you just need a completely outside opinion or
Absolutely.
thought process.
Therapy.
Yeah, sometimes like support groups. Sometimes if you are a single parent or if you're
Oh, yeah.
things like
Well,
that.
you know,
Sometimes
Therapy isn't bad.
No.
Awesome.
No.
therapy is not
Yeah.
bad.
You
I
have
love
to have
therapy.
an outside opinion. I mean, family's wonderful, but I'm not going to take.
But
your
they're
side.
biased.
Right.
They're gonna tell you
Take
what you
your
want to
side.
hear.
Yeah,
You
Yep.
know,
Yeah.
yeah, you're going to say what I want.
Not
you
my
to say.
sister.
Absolutely.
Therapist is
No,
an
no, no.
open-minded and- I mean, when I was going through my husband being so sick, and then it was before Michael got sick. When he was going through the ups and downs, I was seeing a therapist, and just to help me cope with certain situations. And he got so excited when I told my husband was having a heart transplant. Oh, I never had anybody here in this office that had heart transplant.
wait, who said that?
Dr. Bowden.
Oh, yeah,
He was a very, very nice man. He's retired now.
yeah.
But don't ever be ashamed that you seek counseling, because you're trying to get yourself to be able to
'Cause-
settle down up here.
Yeah, I agree.
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
see anything wrong with getting
And
therapy.
even
And-
marriage
It's so
counseling, I
healthy.
would assume. I never
right.
needed that, thank God.
And therapists don't suggest things and put things in your head.
No.
They give you a space to talk out loud, and
Right.
most of the times you realize things on your own just by talking out loud.
That's what I mean.
It's
And to
always-
somebody who
it's-
doesn't
I loved it.
take sides.
Yeah,
Right,
I went to Bowdoin back when I was I think I was a freshman, and it was either senior in high school or freshman in college. But it was
I forget.
he was I forgot what he was called, but he didn't prescribe medicine or anything like that.
No,
But
he was not.
but he was just we
Psychologist?
just felt like I was just sitting there
Yeah,
talking to the guy, and it helped just get some stuff out.
Yeah, we're totally open in our family of like
Yeah.
talking to someone other than ourselves,
Yeah.
because you always need an outside person, and not necessarily a friend or a family member, because again, they're emotionally tied to
Yep.
It's the emotion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Right.
Yeah,
So. But guess what?
Wow.
tell him. I might have told them. I'm not sure.
Did you tell him?
You tell him first.
I have a friend.
Oh, I told him.
That's awesome. Did you see my card?
You got a card?
Now you have to show us.
Where's the card?
I got a gift.
Oh,
What'd you get?
She's so cute.
what did you get?
What did he get you?
He gave me a Mother's Day card.
Oh, that's
He gave you a
But
Mother's
it's
Day
not a Mother's
card?
Day card. It's just a card.
Yeah.
And he bought me. It's I'll get it up after. It's like a little vase with those little LED lights in it.
Oh,
And it has
The LED lights?
It has butterfly on it and some flowers.
Oh, God, that's pretty.
And then he gave me a little cross.
I love
very
it.
nice.
Amazing
I'm
grace.
I'm writing his
Very
name
nice.
down to give to Jen because she's gonna know. She knows.
She knows what?
Hold on.
Jen.
No.
What do you know, Jen?
What do you
No.
know?
It's
I'm super confused.
He's a very nice gentleman.
well, I don't want to say his name on the microphone. That's
yes,
why.
exactly.
Gotcha.
He opens the door for me.
That's very
So
nice.
Lucy, would you mind handing this over to?
She cried when he opened the door.
Oh my God, I bawled like a baby.
Well, it's
You
very
remember
sweet.
the daughter?
Oh yeah. Nice. Okay.
She because she went. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you when the mics are off.
Oh, I'm not worried. It's
It-
okay.
it's
But,
a very.
Very
But
nice.
we went to high school together, so she
So you-
knows.
Yeah.
Oh, did you
I know
Amy?
they are. Yeah.
Yes.
My Dukes is allowed to have some secrets.
Well, no. It's because like I said,
Yeah.
because yeah.
Oh,
It's a whole nother show.
That's a whole.
That's a
other
whole.
show.
That's we're
the
we're
other
gonna
show.
do other segments with the four of us, Colin. That's a whole other show.
That's
We
another
already
show.
have like
So-
4 different show
On
concepts.
this week's episode of That's a Whole Other Show on the Lily Pad podcast, we're gonna and then that's a whole other show.
Well, I have to like put my babies to bed.
yeah, I gotta
Yeah,
go
so
on,
let's.
too.
Why don't we?
I have to take care of my little baby upstairs.
Yeah.
All
I'm
right,
like,
you
go ahead.
guys.
I'll be
So,
home around
Can I say
9:30.
something
I'll be home in
like this?
15
It's
minutes.
so cool coming into a room of not knowing people. I've known
Yeah.
April. I've met you once, and this was for me. This was awesome.
It was
I-
wonderful.
fun.
Yeah,
I had a
love
lot of
being around-
fun.
I love. First of all, I love meeting people. I work from home, so I don't get to see people face to face. I see my children, my husband, my
Yeah.
dog, my cat, who I talk to all day long, and I talk to people all over the country all day long. But
Yeah.
I typically don't try to dry my hair and put on real clothes other than sweatpants. So nice to meet you all.
Well, you can wear sweatpants
Yeah, be-
here too. That's
Well,
fine.
seriously,
Be
because this
comfy.
is the kind of thing that I
So
like.
love this.
this is how I wanted it to morph into, like, you know,
Yeah.
real, unedited,
I'm coming comfy. I just came from work. Otherwise, I'd be nice and comfy.
you know, and that's the whole goal. This is exactly how I want this to go. Like, I mean, other than maybe making some levels, you know, whatever, I might just publish this tonight because you came before we stopped recording, so I don't have to really add anything. But, like, this is kind of what I want. Like, my friends coming in, and I love the fact that, like I said, they never met until tonight.
Right.
And it was such a nice flow of conversation.
Right.
Some of it separated here and there, you know, but all kinds of
But
stuff.
there was
this
no clash.
There was no real
No.
It all
clash.
just blended
Nice.
nicely.
But, you know, I want to wish every one of you a happy Mother's Day. You guys mean very much to me. Like I said, I've known all you, you know, I love you all very much. Especially you, right over there. In that corner. I'm pointing at my mother.
Yeah.
Happy
'cause-
Mother's Day, Cookie.
Ma Dukes.
Thank you,
Yeah,
And Gen
happy
1 and
Mother's
Gen
Day
2.
to you guys. And
And
thank
Happy
you
Mother's
so
Day
much.
to me. We
Yes,
have to
Happy
say it to
Mother's
ourselves,
Day.
too.
Yes.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day to you guys, and we'll be seeing you on the lily pad.
Just ended the show because I have to put my kids to bed.